Oh, look who came up to me, Chad.
What? You smell like dogs, so I mean that's a given, right? Am I right?
Go.
Gibbly lop, bloop, bleep blop, slip lop, and juggalos are dummy, poop, poop, snap, snap, coobity doops.
Chad is the stupidest son of a bitch I've ever met in my life.
Yeah, that's a lot better. Okay,
It's a lot better, yeah.
Welcome to another episode of Enter the Nerdom. I'm here with
Stan Morncini.
Watson Bradshaw.
and obviously I'm Chad Cook. Obviously, if
There's
you've
only
been
one more
listening
name.
to this podcast,
And our guest is now cracking
our
up.
special guest is laughing, choked up over there because I'm so funny. Introduce yourself.
I'm obviously Dan Mason. It's obvious in an audio medium.
Yeah.
Who you are. Yeah.
Well, they read the title. Of
They've
the
been here.
episode.
They've been here a
they
while.
give it the time.
Yeah.
If they've hit this episode, they've been here for.
Yeah, I'm a longtime listener, first time guest. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
and so all of you will be.
Guests?
Yes.
Is it that
Ominous.
easy to get this
Yeah,
hot
it's
seat?
that
As
simple.
long
as
you
Just
listen.
hit us up.
I mean, yeah, just hit us. We'll zoom you in. Well, we won't zoom you in because we're not that tech.
We're not
savvy.
quite there.
No.
there.
We just got mics working.
Yeah.
Yeah, just barely. For the seventh time,
Yeah.
sixth time, not so much
We
last
got
time.
all the bugs out. It's okay.
That was my fault. I forgot to turn the microphones on. We only paid $400 for each of these microphones and for the soundboard, and I forgot to turn them on.
That's
so.
okay. We
That's
wanted
okay.
at
Shitty
least one
MacBook
episode
Pro.
where we sounded like we were in a can.
Yeah.
So we got it.
And we got it.
Yeah.
We
Jumping in the can.
You know,
Yeah,
like
got
Jump
it.
of the Shark, we're like in the can. That's,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Most people do it on the first episode.
Yeah.
We did it on episode 6.
We're still figuring out some audio
We-
issues, but I think we got it mostly now.
We hit the peaks and valleys, you know. So another one down the line, you know, something bad will happen probably.
Exactly.
Thanks. I'd love to hear that before.
Probably on this episode.
But not on this episode, no.
No.
No, not this
Yeah.
one.
Not
Some
this
This one's
sort
going
of-
to be solid
Are
gold,
you
baby.
heart healthy? Are you okay? You
Yeah.
got okay, good.
Why are you asking that? That's
I'm just
terrifying.
wondering. Dan, go
This
ahead.
is also a fitness episode?
Yeah, it's a-
Yeah, my name is Dan, and I am a huge nerd in all sort of facets of life. And that used to be a bad thing, and now
Yeah,
it did. When we were all in high
it's-
school.
And when now we ruled
Yeah.
the world.
Yeah, we wear it like a badge of honor now, and I am very thrilled. I met these guys mostly through a reading comic book club we had called the Reading Rainbows. I was the leader of that.
Rainbows.
I know Chad from college, unfortunately, and
Obviously.
I've seen everything. And I'm whatever you guys got to throw at me, I'm here for it.
Nice,
All right.
nice. So you're a big anime fan.
Okay,
That's
so
basically what we had you on for. You're the
Yeah,
anime expert.
You're
So,
I
so
actually-
you keep saying.
I actually hate anime.
Oh wow.
guys.
Oh,
Well,
we
and,
really put
well,
this
well,
wrong.
goodbye, everybody.
all throughout our
This has been
This is our anime bash.
all throughout our comic book group. Dan has been forcing or throwing anime titles at us. Like, you should watch this, watch this, watch this.
okay.
Championing.
So
Certainly forcing.
I am the biggest weeb because I just really got into anime during the pandemic when I had time to binge watch these long series. When I was younger, I watched the Frieza saga for Dragon Ball Z, and there was something always like lingering that made me want to continue to watch that whole series from the start because it's great world building, lots of cool characters. So I finally had the time during the pandemic, and I binge watched all of Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, and Dragon Ball Super in like a month or so.
Wow.
And then it got me craving like the next thing, like, oh, this is really cool. And now I'm onto like such niche things, such niche animes that I'm into like slice of life shoujos about like anxiety ridden girls that want to start rock bands. Like I've gone down such a rabbit hole that but it's okay. Let me say this. It's anime scratches the perfect itch for stuff I'm into. It's
So Japan.
well,
Japanese
it's I have a very if it takes a lot for me to connect with something emotionally, and a lot of the mainstream things I see don't resonate with me in a way that sticks. I'll enjoy it, but it doesn't stick. And then if there's these unique stories that I don't see every day that kind of catch me off guard and then have these emotionally compelling moments with characters I resonate with, I'm down for life. And it's something that has always been in anime, but I never knew about. And that's why I'm watching shows like Higurashi When They Cry. It's like this time loop sort of sweet schoolgirls with a dark secret type thing, but there's this mystery in the town, and it's so cool. There's another one I've been trying to force on these guys called School Live, which is
We have heard so much about it.
It's basically a zombie schoolgirl show, but it's not about that. It's in the background during a more interesting story. And that's why, like, you guys watch anime too, but I think I've watched over 120. I've kept count of on my phone, like almost full series for most of them, but at least 120 different animes.
Let's go down the list of all 120, dubbed or sub.
Yes.
You're gonna say dub or sub.
Honestly, yeah.
It's going to be controversial for the listeners because obviously everyone who's listening is opinionated on a dub or sub.
I actually do both.
No, same here.
Yeah.
I do both as well.
Because like some are
You
just
go both ways.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I swing both ways, which is what everyone says about Dan Mason. He swings
Yeah.
both ways. What about you guys? Do you guys have any sort of connection with this?
I mean, I've been watching since like Adult Swim was popular in the late 90s, where I guess I should say Toonami. Sorry, Toonami, and they introduced Dragon Ball, Sailor Moon, Inuyasha, Trigun. What's the one with the guy with the finger gun? Oh my god, he's like a spirit cop. They're gonna hate me, but yeah, there was plenty other ones that were shown there, and most of them were from the late 80s into the 90s.
Paranoia Agent?
No. That was much later in like the 2000s, I think. But this one was like the guy dies, and then he kind of like he trains like to take on spirits. Like I'm probably butchering.
Please send all your angry comments.
Yes,
Yeah.
send it to me. Yes.
There is literally thousands of people screaming at their phones right
And that's
now.
the point of this podcast.
Yeah.
Get them involved.
Get him annoying.
It's called Finger Gun Cop.
finger cup. I mean, it'll probably come to me later, but yeah, no, there was a lot of them had that old style look. I don't know when that kind of changed from that you notice, like from let's say like Gundam Wing to I'm stumbling here now, but
I know what you mean. It's probably around Akira time. That's when it kind
I'd
of
say
transitioned.
so.
Yeah.
But
We used to have Robotech, which was
Robotech,
which was still that old
Robotech
style.
is- yeah. That probably my intro would be Robotech growing up.
Yeah.
Watching that
Mine too.
early on.
Cowboy Bebop. Sorry,
Oh,
that was the one I was
yeah.
trying to remember.
Not
Finger gun
No.
That's not the one you're thinking
That's
of,
not the
what
one
are
I was thinking of.
I was about to say.
No, because he doesn't die and become a spirit.
You
No,
rewrote the
Chad,
show.
He doesn't. You're thinking
No.
of Ghost Dad.
I mean, it is a good movie.
I think this might have been
Oh,
a
boy.
fever dream that you had one time, Chad.
If you're listening, comment it on our Instagram post or Twitter, and we'll say thanks. We don't have gifts yet.
Here we go.
Also,
merch.
I'm just so everyone knows, I have become the guy that says, "Oh my god, you gotta watch this."
Yes.
And everyone hates that dude because no one wants to watch the thing you're talking about, and they don't have the time to watch the thing you're talking about. But no one else watches these things, and I'm so lonely.
Well, no, the best time to introduce it to somebody is like if they're hanging out with you over your place and be like, "Hey, you want to watch
Where
something?"
they can't
And-
forcibly
yeah,
leave.
yeah.
It's like how you ask a girl for a date while they're at work.
Yeah.
Well, she can't leave the counter.
I mean,
What's she gonna do? Leave her job? It's me and nobody.
it's not our lunch break yet, so I could be here for another half hour.
And so the two that you're always talking about are One Punch.
One Piece.
Excuse me, One Piece. Excuse me.
It's
And-
had over
and
1,000
Fruit Baskets.
episodes. You have the decency to learn its name.
So One Piece and
One Piece,
and
Fruits Basket.
Fruits Baskets.
Fruits Basket.
Oh, I thought it was Fruit Baskets. It's Fruits Baskets.
You'd want to put the S at the end of baskets and be like, fruit baskets.
It
Right,
makes
that
sense
makes more
in
sense.
context.
Yeah.
It's about this young girl who is orphaned, and she stumbles upon this rich family with a deep history and a secret lore that they were all connected to the Zodiac.
I know that story.
Explain it slowly.
No, I mean,
for
like
everyone to know.
No, I mean,
Not
I
the
know.
Zodiac Killer.
No,
Yeah.
no. I just, I'm familiar with, what's happened in my life,
It's something we can all
It's
relate
Chad's
to.
backstory.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, it's his origin story.
If you give physical contact to one of the members of the Zodiac, they turn into that animal. And
Oh.
it's a secret that they're holding from everybody, but there's actually a bigger secret of them trying to break this curse because it passes on from generation to generation.
Like the Chinese Zodiac or the...
Yes.
Oh, okay, cool.
And
The one that matters.
Well, no, I don't know if there's like a separate Japanese one or not. Or
they can kind of combine the both because like the dragon can also be personified as a seahorse, which is both different Zodiac forms.
Yeah.
But they sort of take Zodiac as an ideology more than anything. But it is such a beautiful show that was one of the first ones I saw outside of Dragon Ball that like when I was branching off into new stuff. And I'm such a softie when it comes to like if something can pull at my heartstrings, it's very difficult to do that. Like I'm such an emotionless, dead inside like monster. But
We've been saying it
Oh,
for
we-
years.
yeah.
Yeah, we
You
all
know,
know.
I've
We
listened
all
to the
know.
last few episodes where you all end it with
This
your-
has just been an intervention.
Speaking of the
Enter
Zodiac Killer,
Nerdom, and Dan sucks. His lifeless eyes. But like, it's a beautiful story. One Piece is probably the greatest world building storytelling I've ever seen. That it's hard to keep my interest.
so this is a series that's been going on for 20 years.
Yeah, it's
Something
on.
like that.
It's on like it's past 1,000 episodes.
Oh my God.
And I'm only about 800 something in right now. But every episode
Only.
gets better. Like flat out. It wouldn't have kept my attention this long if it didn't get better.
What give us a synopsis? Like what the hell is it about? Because how can a series run for
Sum
20
up
years?
1,000 episodes, please.
Yeah.
It's just
Aside from The Simpsons, how can a series run this long?
it's just these pirates go on these adventures. They keep meeting new members of this crew. They go to different worlds with different themes, and then little tidbits of something like tricks or people or hints towards this bigger storyline will come back 200 episodes later and mean everything. When it was first introduced, it was just this small little like, this guy just passed by and said something, and now he is the biggest player to save the world in the story. It's fascinating, and it's such a huge thing for fans because when they get those little tidbits, they feel rewarded
payoff,
for watching.
yeah.
Yes, it's the payoff.
How are you going to feel if One Piece turned, like the treasure that he's on the hunt for, turns out to be like something like self-respect? Or...
Yeah, it honestly wouldn't matter at this point.
Some worthless like that.
They got me. Like who needs self-respect? No one at this table, surely.
Absolutely
No.
not. Look what we're doing.
Oh, no, yeah.
I will also say, you mentioned Sailor Moon. That was also one of my like, I should watch this eventually, I didn't think I would love it as much as I did. Like the original 90s version that got the new voiceover from, I forgot the new group that did it, but there was the American version from the 90s that was the most whitewashed, gross storytelling you could do, of just like turning all their names into like Cindy and like making them all like the most American teeny bopper things and cutting all of the
That's how we connect.
yeah,
We're-
but they
'cause
also
we're-
cut out like anything that like had same-sex relationships. They made them cousins. Like instead
Which feels worse.
it feels worse because
Right.
they're hanging over each other. They're like romantically involved, but it's better that they're cousins and really
They're just
close.
really touchy.
because that like appeals to middle
It's a
America
very close
a little more.
family.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But like that stuck with me too, because like the 90s version, the redone appropriate one, is like goofy Monster of the Week Power Rangers stuff. And I was like, oh my God, is this what Sailor Moon is? I had no idea Sailor Moon was Power Rangers.
Right.
Yeah.
And it was amazing. And then they redid like the new ones lately with like Crystal and Eternal, the stuff they're making movies for on Netflix now. And it's the base story, no fluff, just the actual story, cuts right to the
okay.
chase. And it's so fascinating and beautiful. Once again, if you have great characters I'll watch. That's all I need. It doesn't need to be much, but it can take you a long way.
I'm interested to see, because you mentioned Power Rangers. I feel like Power Rangers was a lot of people's first glimpse of anything like Japanese animation or getting into that kind of the Super Sentai stuff.
Sentai, what's his name? What's the guy with Matthew
Lawrence?
Shockmaster.
Shockmaster.
Super Samurai Cyber Squad.
Yes,
Wow.
Super Samurai Cyber Squad, where he fought Tim Curry's virus monster.
Wow. Yeah, well, yeah, and but I would say the first thing. I mean, I think if kids watch TV back in the day, where like on TV a lot, they would marathon all the kaiju movies like Godzilla.
Oh
that's
true.
So
I
think you kind of were already subject to that. You didn't really, obviously you're a kid, you're just like, oh, big monster, and then you're like, oh my god, look at over there. But no, and then you get to a cartoon form of it, and it's like, oh wow, this is even awesome.
Yeah, they can do so much more with very little.
Yeah.
And
absolutely. I remembered the name of the show, Yu Yu Hakusho.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I know what you're talking about now.
That's a
Finger gun
cup.
Yeah,
I guess that are
he shoots.
Is that a direct translation?
No.
Yeah, I guess if you're having a stroke, those are 3 words that could pop out to describe the show. Yeah, I guess that could.
I think I probably like OD'd on sugar, bowl of sugar, watching the show yesterday. Because,
I was gonna say this is probably a daily thing.
This is daily.
But like
daily strokes.
I would say anime obviously is not for everyone. But I will say if you are not an anime fan, there is something there for you. I didn't realize how many genres and how many topics they cover until I actually got my hands dirty with it. But that's a weird euphemism for that. but until like I dove in and like gave it a little more time, I didn't realize how vast it was. And I will say, give it a shot if you can. I do think a safe one for people that are not into anime is Death Note, because as a story, it is short.
It's a tight story. Yeah.
It is short and so strong right out the gate.
I will say though, since Saturday morning cartoons are gone now, like you can't really. There's no channel like WB or WB Kids or Fox Kids or whatever. They introduced Pokemon and like Digimon and stuff like that.
That's
so
true.
They kind of like, I didn't know they counted as anime at the time, but they were anime.
Yeah,
in fact.
They opened the doors for it.
I think that's another thing. If you're not throwing it at them like, oh, this is anime. So, no, it's another cartoon that's on, and because it is in its own way a cartoon, but a little bit more heavier. Obviously, they edit out the Japanese adult themes that
Did you hear Team Rocket is breaking up?
No.
Okay,
Oh my God.
so the original show, the story arc with Ash Ketchum is coming to an end.
I did hear this. I heard that
Ash is done. Yeah,
he's
left
wrapping
now.
up. He has like
he's a 45-year-old man at this point.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
I mean,
yeah.
he's like
he
Bart Simpson,
he finally
just
won.
eternally
He
trapped
finally won
in
the
that body.
championship or whatever.
Yeah,
badge.
but he's the champion, so he's wrapping up. But the last episode had Team Rocket had like a solemn fight with each other and then broke up. So like as of now, there's like 2 episodes left. So I don't know, but Team Rocket broke up.
Does Brock get with Misty though?
That was 20 years ago, so I'll have to check in with
That's
them.
as close as we. No, I heard Jonathan Majors is going to be in the final
He's gonna
episode
play Brock.
too. Yeah, he's going to take on Ash Ketchum for the championship.
Hey guys, can Jonathan Majors not play one role this year?
No, he's got to be in
seriously.
everything.
If they did a live action Pokemon, I'd have him as Brock.
He would absolutely. He'd be
He'd kill.
amazing as Ash. He'd be amazing as everybody.
Pikachu.
Charmander.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, he would, and we just all recently saw. Well, some of us saw Creed 3.
Yes.
Now that now that we switched over to Jonathan Majors.
Oh,
and a good
have you guys who's watched
hybrid
it?
between anime and Creed. It's Michael B.
Oh, yeah,
Jordan.
Michael
A
B.
lot
Jordan,
of his
yeah,
influences
God, he
from
loves
anime.
it.
Yeah, he does.
well, even his shorts in Creed 3 are based off the Kira jacket.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Right.
that's true.
Like he really went deep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and his the actor who played him as a young kid, his room is covered in anime stuff.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know.
I saw the Naruto poster hanging out there.
Yes. So what do you guys think?
There was some. I saw some like factual problems, like the Gundam that he has on the wall actually didn't come out till 2004.
That's all Chad writing that on the message boards.
Yeah.
I'm not watching these movies because they're inaccurate.
Did you watch it, Chad?
No, I did not catch it.
You didn't watch
But
it,
I will be catching it soon, though.
But we saw it.
Yes.
Watson, myself, and Dan.
Mm-hmm.
What did you guys think of it?
I loved it. I mean, I'm a big Rocky nerd. I loved boxing growing up, and boxing movies are like, there's something to be said about like it it's very formulaic. Every boxing movie, it's like,
Right,
okay,
yeah.
gotta do the montage. You gotta get him like, there's gotta take a little fall down in the middle of the movie to come back up. But I dig it. I love the way these Creed movies are going. I was a little upset when they said Stallone wouldn't be involved with this last one.
That's pretty sad.
Okay.
But I kind of feel like rewatching Creed 2 again before seeing 3, they did kind of wrap his story up really well. With him going off and like going to see his son again. And I was like, okay, like it's a good end point for that character.
Yeah.
And I don't want them to do the Mickey thing of like, gotta kill him off or something.
Right.
To
If
motivate.
he came into this wedged in and forced,
Yeah.
there was no part for him in this story.
Yeah.
I mean,
Admit, like, okay,
Are
there
we doing
was one part.
spoilers,
There was
right?
one part.
Yeah,
Spoiler.
we're doing
Spoiler
spoilers?
No,
warning.
we always do spoilers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Fast forward 30
Yes.
seconds at the funeral.
Yes.
He should have.
he
been
should have
there.
been there.
He
He
should
should
have
have done
absolutely
a
been there.
speech. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
if that's how you get him in the movie, that's how you do it.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
The movie obviously survived and did well without him in it.
Yeah.
Right.
Even though it was still a great movie. I loved the choreography for the final fight. I thought it switched things up from a traditional
Right.
punch
dude face repeat.
That was interesting the way they
Yeah.
decided to go kind of more into their mind's eye kind of thing and show what
Because the audience is completely gone.
Yeah,
And
it's
Jordan
like,
directed this one.
yeah,
I
he
think.
did.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, just like stuff his directing style that was really well done, and just stuff using like the anime influences, like the way that when they were throwing punches, like you saw it like reverberate literally through their body.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was such a
And-
JoJo punch.
Yes.
You know?
Right.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think he makes references. I think he's done interviews where he's like, I've taken this little fight scene from this and that from this, and blend them together for his fights, and I think it looks great and different from these 9 other Rocky movies are out there.
Yeah, because like it is difficult, especially this is the third one in his franchise
Yeah.
specifically. But if you're watching 3 movies after a few years, you can't just have it be a fight for who's the best.
Yeah.
There has to be emotional stakes. There has to be some sort of gravitas to it where losing isn't just losing a fight. And I think this one did a great job with that.
I did have problems with. They kept mentioning how much older Jonathan Major's character was, and I was like, is he that much older? And I looked up. No, he's like 3 years younger than Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah, which
I'm
is
like,
crazy.
Why?
Yeah,
why they
he
keep
just
making-
kind of looks older in the
I
movie.
guess
like a
so.
foot
Yeah,
taller.
he is a lot taller. But I was just like, why not make him the same age? I don't understand. But
I genuinely felt his unhinged sort of looks and
was great.
fighting
100%.
style
Yeah.
it made me so genuinely nervous because we knew in the story he came from prison and had this sort of grudge stewing for years.
Yeah.
And with that and his amazing sort of nuances that he was doing,
right.
I was like, I felt nervous.
And slowly chipping away at Adonis and his lifestyle, like going to
Yes.
the wife and being like, "Oh, did he tell you about this? Did he tell like
he was
just
such a master
using
manipulator.
psychological warfare kind of thing throughout the whole movie to get to that match."
And then when Creed came up to him on the beach,
Yeah.
I legit thought things were going to get very bad.
Yeah, I thought it was going to turn to Rocky 5 all of a sudden.
Yeah.
That's what
Yeah, I was
kinda
afraid
felt like
for
that
that.
was
the
going
brawl
on.
on the beach.
Yeah. I mean, I think Jonathan Major should have won, but that's just me.
There's no way.
There's no way.
There's
But
no
you,
way.
yeah, you made a good point before the podcast. We were talking about it, and you said that which I thought about this obviously, and it'd be very difficult for this guy who is obviously very strong and has kept in shape and does know about fighting, but that just came out of prison to beat the world heavyweight champion who's been
Right.
training for over a decade.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
And
even
has
the
had-
first Rocky movie, Rocky loses, but he
Right.
goes the distance. That's the whole point of that.
Yeah.
you
And
know?
even though he's like out of the game for like 3 years or something, it's like, yeah, but you've been tuning your whole life fighting, and this guy might have been punching the bag in prison,
Right.
but he is not a skilled fighter.
No.
And yeah, he might have some reach and dirty tactics, which balances him a bit. But if he won that fight, absolutely not.
Yeah.
But I think it ends
And
on
I know because I'm an out of shape dude who watched it on the TV.
Oh, I thought you said you were a retired boxer.
so
you got them golden
this is-
gloves.
I have an
yeah.
opinion because I'm a fat dude who watches TV.
No, go for it.
Would you guys be able to put in order of the Creed movies, like from worst? I mean, your favorite to the least favorite.
I would go 1, 3, 2.
Yeah, exactly.
1, 3, 2?
Mine too.
2, 3, 1.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Oh,
Really
okay.
didn't
I
like
think
that
I
first
might
one.
have recency bias for 3. So, but I do think 2 and the whole battle there with
the Dragos.
Dragos. Yeah,
And you haven't seen.
I did
no,
see
you
that
did.
one.
You
I
did see
see
Rocky
that
4.
one.
Okay. Yeah,
I haven't
forgot.
seen all the Rockies. I've seen like the key ones. But I did see the Drago one, and I think, one, the Drago storyline was great.
Yeah.
2, I love their little friendship in this third one.
It was so nice that
It's
that
all
played
I
out.
want.
I like that they brought him back. He
Yeah.
can just go away.
That
and
guy's
never
just a
come back.
mountain
Yeah.
of a dude, though.
Yes,
It's so crazy.
yeah,
And
he's
he's
huge.
a real professional boxer.
Oh, yeah,
And
yeah.
just like,
Yeah.
guy's nuts.
Yeah. So with that being said, another big movie that most of us saw was Scream.
Yeah.
I did not see it.
You haven't
Watson
seen it?
did see it.
Yep. I've
Watch,
seen it.
yeah.
You saw it, Chad?
Yeah, I saw.
Wow.
Okay,
solid
for the
invite.
listeners out there, write this down. Chad does not like horror movies.
Yeah.
No, I
Haunted
It's
houses.
more of a slasher.
Haunted houses.
Yeah, I don't go like to
Okay.
haunted houses or anything.
Yeah.
But Ghostface, you're fine.
don't-
Just Ghost.
I forgot. You do like horror movies.
Yeah, they have to be
It's
a
a
little
slasher.
little bit smarter, or just not just gore porn. I like when there's a plot and
Yeah. So
and stuff.
to be fair, I have not seen Scream 4, 5, or,
Oh, really?
or 6. No, I haven't seen since
Really?
the original
Okay.
3.
Oh, wow.
So that's why I kind of didn't want to see it. I also was like, crazy work week, but also I was like, yeah, I've got 3 movies I have to catch up on before seeing this one.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean,
No,
I missed
I-
a ton.
well,
But,
that's why I didn't
sometimes they
see
are
Creed.
connected.
Yeah.
and
Oh,
I
they're
was
all
just-
connected.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so that's why I was.
I mean,
They're,
to an unfortunate extent, sometimes that
Right.
they're still
Yeah.
all connected.
I
But
just
Yeah.
didn't have the time to put in the 9 hours.
well,
to
Watson,
get
take
there.
off your headphones. We're gonna.
Okay,
chat
I'll
a
see you
little
guys
bit.
later.
Chad,
Well-
what do you think of it?
I really like this one more than the previous one for 5, only because it kind of went against the whole movie trope, or like the killers weren't obsessed about movies. It was more a personal vendetta, sort of like
It's all about TikToks now, Sydney.
yeah. Oh, if TikTok was in that, I think I would have walked out. But
Yeah.
but like the first Scream, the second Scream had to do with revenge or just hateful, spite towards the main character Sydney.
Yeah.
The third one, jealousy. It's very from a personal area, and I like in the fourth one, same thing, but a little bit.
That was more along the TikTok line. She wanted to be famous for being a survivor.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
Sydney was.
And they
yeah.
were-
And
they were
I
streaming
like
everything.
that because I was like, that's believable because there are insane people out there who really want to be.
But also at that time, it was such a new thing to be like a
Yeah.
fame horror.
Right, because it was
Yeah.
2011.
Yeah.
So I think if they
I
made
invested
if they
big
made
in
that one
Quibi,
now,
Sydney.
if
Have
they
you heard
made
of cryptocurrency?
if they made
The true Scream.
Ghostface, bro.
pay me in Bitcoin.
Ghostface coin.
What's your favorite Dogecoin? But I think if they made Scream 4 now, that would have been more like it would have been a bigger hit than it was then. So
yeah.
but no, I like this. Although like I don't for some reason the killers at the end, I was like, since they're related. I mean, spoiler alert, they're related to the killer from Scream
Well,
5.
Yeah.
And the thing is, they're just as unhinged. So I just didn't understand
Yeah.
how they
Can
were
I tell
that.
you guys a secret?
What?
Can I tell you guys a secret?
What?
Yeah.
In my screening, the killer was sitting in front of me. That is not a joke.
Oh, really?
The
The
red-haired
cop
girl.
or the girl?
Oh,
the
the girl.
red-haired
Yeah.
girl was sitting in front of me, and I knew she was the killer because she had 2 rows full of her friends, and when she first popped up as the roommate, they all erupted, and I was like, she's the killer. There's no way you invite
that how you guys
40 of
figured it
your
out?
closest friends.
If you're
Yeah,
just
'cause
if
you-
you're mate
just
number
the
3,
roommate.
You sent me a message saying you guys figured it out
Yeah.
pretty quickly. And
But-
I was like, how?
But oh yeah, so I text Stan too.
Yeah.
But like, Scream is never about chasing the breadcrumbs and trying to solve the mystery.
Right.
It'll just usually be the new people, and here's
Yeah.
why. Like the big reveal at the end is here's why they're doing it.
Yeah.
And here's the connection.
I mean,
from
that's
the
every
past.
Scream. They have their monologue of this is why I'm doing this.
It's not like it's not a mystery that you're like, oh, I followed the breadcrumbs and now I know. It's not satisfying in that way. So like, I was like, oh, it's obviously the girl because they didn't confirm her body, and like she like wasn't screaming at first. She was like making like general noises like when they heard her in the other room, and then they had time to take a picture of her with Ghostface, and then no one checked her when she got tossed out of the room, and then the only person that did look at her was a corrupt cop in New York. Are you kidding me?
Well,
like,
not every cop is corrupt in New York.
hey, come on, Joe. Come on. hey, Chad, I shut the mic off.
What?
I shut the mics off. Tell me
What?
When do
I
you
shut
really
the
think
mics
about
off. What do you
cops
think
with
about the cops?
Right.
I mean, it's hard not to take a bite of the cookie. You know what I mean? Sometimes you gotta
get your beak wet.
get your beak wet. You gotta
Big
reach
apple,
in
you
the
gotta
bag.
get
Just a
a
little
bite.
bit.
You gotta grab.
Okay, I'm gonna turn him back on.
Okay.
The crooked cop was obvious, and I think he even said it when he was revealed. He was like, "Yeah, obviously me." And then like the boy, I was like, "Well, it's obviously him too. I just don't know what his deal is."
Well, they even said it in the movie. It's like, we know it's you. And what? No.
Well, no, I mean,
obviously it was him though.
Yeah.
From the,
Well, because he was gone when the redheaded girl, the roommate, was being attacked, and I was like, all right, well,
they even
obviously-
asked, like, where were you?
Yeah, they were, and he was like,
biochem.
I was at econ. I
and
was at
hey,
econ.
guess
Whatever
what?
he had,
Hey
yeah.
guys, if you do have a killer after you, and someone says, "I was at econ, I had 100 witnesses," maybe ask. Maybe follow them up on that.
I mean, that's the one thing. It's like now that we're so far into the series, it's hard to defend why they were missing at the moment. Like, it's like, really? I mean, you got to come up with something.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Maybe they like that's why I didn't know. I didn't know the girl who got killed. I mean, the roommate got killed. I didn't know she was going to be the third one. I thought it was going to be Ethan, the coy one, who's like, oh yeah, because I was like, all right, this guy's obviously
There's three
faking.
killers in this?
Yeah, there's three.
Three.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
Only two
It's the-
active ones. There's
it's
only
the-
two ghost faces.
Well, okay, I do have a question before I. So Watson, yes, it was the father of Richie who was killed in the last movie. Spoiler for two movies
two
now.
movies, yeah.
And his siblings.
And his siblings, his brother and sister.
Yeah.
Now I will say this:
Family affair.
Ghostface was actually intimidating in this one.
Oh, yeah.
Terrifying.
They
yeah.
did such amazing tension scenes
Yes.
that
Yeah.
they have not done in Scream, because usually it's like a fun chase scene.
Yeah.
These were like tension, stop breathing scenes.
I agree.
And I will say this: Ghostface was intimidating, like a powerhouse in this.
Yeah.
I think the dad must have put on the mask.
No,
at some point.
I think so too, yeah.
I think he was the one at
In the store?
The store who shot
Yeah,
the
because
guy.
he knew how to wield a shotgun. Yeah.
yeah.
Yep,
Yeah.
that and the break into the house with the daughter.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Because when he
probably.
was ramming that door,
Yeah.
there was no way that little 116-pound twig
So
boy was going to do that.
here's my problem with some of the Scream killers,
Oh,
since
yeah.
at least, and we
Yes,
talked about
please,
this
Stan.
since. So here's my problem with the
A
Scream
ranking
killer.
of the killers.
well, the physicality of the killers since at least the third one, right? So obviously in the first one it was Stu Macher and Billy Loomis, who were well, they're supposed to be high school kids, but they're like in their 30s at the time.
Yeah.
or something
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that.
I believe
but they were
them,
pretty
though.
physically, fit. And then in the second one we had the serial killer Mickey. Who was played by Timothy
Who
Oliphant.
you would forget he was in the movie.
Right, exactly.
Oh my God, yeah.
Who Timothy Oliphant is probably, especially in his prime, is probably not somebody I would want to mess with. And then the
I
third
don't want to
one,
mess with him today.
No, wait,
Yeah,
Billy Loomis's mom was the real killer.
Well,
No.
she was
behind the
using
scenes.
Mickey.
Yeah, she was using.
She was
Mickey.
funding
Oh,
him.
yeah.
Yeah, she was funding him. And then in the third one we had Roman, who was Sydney's half brother.
Sure.
Yeah.
Who was
Huge air quotes on that.
Yeah, who was
She was like, I don't know you.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
Well, no, but that's why I really like because I think Roman was my favorite because he kind of connected all three movies together.
But
by,
what about my movie?
Well, no,
that
he
was-
didn't.
That was fucking stupid. Yeah,
Obviously, that line was cheesy.
that shit
but
was stupid. Yeah.
All of Scream 3 was cheesy, though.
No,
but in
I-
like a good way.
no, but yeah. Well, I mean, the series is supposed to be cheesy. It's not supposed to be.
Let's say it's Jay and Silent Bob. in it.
Three was
Come on.
3 was cornball in a way that 1 and 2 were not.
We're not. Yeah,
And
But they made it more fun, though.
It was
I
fun.
think that's
he was
why
definitely
I
a
left
more
after that.
that Ghostface was certainly a little more, I would say, tougher than the other two, because he
Yeah.
could definitely
And he was
could dish
rougher
out-
with the
Right, he was
kills.
rougher, yeah, for sure.
But the thing was with him connecting it to Billy's like, yeah, I told him to do it and kill your mom and blah blah blah.
Right.
And no, and I like all that, the connectivity of it. So
That's such a way to wedge yourself into a story.
I mean, but
Yeah.
how
It was-
what? It
yeah.
would be just another random person in the third one?
What if
Right.
somebody told in
After you
Star
do
Wars,
Billy,
they were
then
like,
his
and then
mom?
I told Darth Vader that I was your father. It's like,
But I
well,
mean, like
that's
you
weird.
have
I ran the grocery store that he bought the mask
Yeah.
at.
you have Billy, then his mom, and then you got to have someone connected to them in some capacity. So, or at least to Sydney. So you have a half brother.
half brother we had no
Yeah.
clue about, and it was only in the movie for 6 minutes.
No, he was throughout the movie. What are you talking
No,
about?
he was
He was
not.
the direct.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
he
he
popped
was-
up like twice.
Yeah.
No, he popped up like 3-4
I
times.
just watched it.
Yeah, it's definitely it's got some problems, but the biggest problem I had was with the killers in number 4. Get the
Okay,
fuck
no.
Emma Roberts and
yeah.
and Macaulay Culkin's little brother.
Yeah.
who are both 90 pounds.
He makes Macaulay
Come on.
Culkin look like
if
Creed.
you look at the IMDb of Scream 4, the killer is like just some
6'2"?
guy in he's not
probably-
even them.
probably, yeah,
Okay,
210. Yeah,
Well,
Stan,
because
I
it was
wanna
both
just-
of them on each other's shoulders, right? That's how they.
that must have been it.
They did like a
Little
boy in a
kids
trench
getting-
coat.
yeah,
if
exactly.
Emma Roberts or Macaulay Culkin's little brother, I'm sure he has. I forgot his name, but
Kieran McCall.
Kieran, yeah.
Yeah.
If either one of them came at me with a knife and a Ghostface costume, I'd be literally be able to grab their wrist, pick them up, and body slam them and shatter their.
Can I
vertebrae.
piggyback off of you for a sec,
Please.
Stan? That takes us to the 5th one.
Yes.
Now, I just recently watched all the Scream movies.
I have a big problem with the fifth
I
one.
just marathoned them, so it was. I know who it was, and it was so fresh in my
Yeah,
mind when
it
I
was easy.
rewatched.
Yeah.
So I was looking for when the Richie, the tall boy, was. So the killers are a tall boy named Richie and a short girl named Amber.
Who's also
Yeah.
90 pounds. Yeah.
She's like a little 90-pound girl.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, well, maybe the scenes were like they were lifting Dewey up by the stomach with a knife was actually Richie. No.
It was. She
It was
even
all
admitted
December.
it to.
So every time we'd see Richie and then the ghost face would run on the screen, I would mark things next to them.
Wow.
And they were as tall as a refrigerator when they
Right.
first came out. They were as tall. They were taller
Yeah.
than Dewey when they were.
I think
well, the actual Scream
wearing
killers
lifts.
are always played by tall guys. Always. It's
Yes.
always stuntmen.
But you
obviously, yeah.
can't say it's the little 5-foot
Exactly.
tall girl who was gutting Dewey over his head and
Yeah.
lifting him up with the
Well,
knives.
here's the other problem I had with that, right? So in the hospital, he shoots the killer 3
Yeah.
times. He's wearing a vest, so it stops. Now he shoots him with a 38 special.
Mm-hmm.
38 is a very heavy round. Anybody, even if a guy who was 6'2", 210, very in shape, got hit 3 times in the chest with those rounds, it would probably break a rib. It would shatter her sternum plus a couple ribs, and she would not be able to get up. So yeah, and then the part that she is able to pick Dewey up, who is probably
6 something.
yeah, and he's
Yeah.
I think he's like
He was
2
the
something.
WCW champion.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, exactly. He was wrestling. Yeah, he's probably like 230, maybe 220. Come on, yeah.
He was
so
like,
that's-
he's in his 50s.
Well, she was wearing
now.
body armor and plot armor. So
exactly.
Yeah, she
so
has some
this
plot
is
armor.
what I was hoping they would do with this new movie is that it was actually Stu who had come back. Somehow it surved.
Yeah.
and they
I was hoping
retconned
that.
it
It's the
so it was
train.
actually Stu who had killed Dewey, which would make sense because then he says at one point
Yeah.
when Ghostface kills Dewey, Ghostface says it's an honor. So I
Yeah.
was thinking, oh shit, maybe it's Stu Mocker, and they're gonna retcon it. Like, actually, that was me controlling these
But
two
I remember
idiots.
that was a lot of the
Right.
internet.
Now,
but it would have been.
But that's what I was,
Matthew
and that
Lillard
would have been
back.
amazing instead of this kind of like vengeful family. Which
Now, Stan, I really went into this new one hoping I had my Stu theory and I was sticking with it. So I
Yeah.
thought
Yes.
that this Ghostface was Stu, and then when I found out when the roommate said, "Oh, something about my dad doesn't trust me because what happened to my brother," I was like, "Are they related to Stu?" But then I was like,
That's
"Well,
what
the
I thought.
ages don't line up here."
No.
Yeah,
But
that's what I
then I was thinking about it, and between Hayden Panettiere returning as an FBI agent and Gail Weathers being the most like thorough reporter, there was no way Stu could have lived, and they had it hidden from them. 2, they don't know what his family looks like to a T.
Right.
So
That
I
was
was
the
like,
biggest
so
hole with that.
there's no way
Yeah.
it could be Stu.
That was the biggest problem with him because it wouldn't have been Stu because they would have known what his family looks like exactly. So I'd have been like, okay, well,
Well, for going off the killers aren't physically able to do
Oh, yeah.
a lot of things. Well, the only thing
A
I
lot of
can
things.
justify any of that is because Scream is a series that's poking fun at horror movies as well. And the fact that most horror movies like Friday the 13th, for one, obviously you see Miss Voorhees, her forearms aren't like she's a man. She's a
Yeah.
jacked
Some
man.
good arms.
So I was
Don't
just
skip
like,
arm day.
But no, I'm just saying, like, that's their way of, trying to create the mystery, quote, air quotes. I'm doing air quotes.
Of the form, the body.
Of the form of the body, you know, and I can get that. But when it's intricate towards, like, characters like these, it's kind of harder to believe. But, I mean, obviously, these are just fun.
I do want to put an asterisk next to this because we didn't. I feel like it should be said before we keep going. It's not that there can't be a smaller woman or a smaller man as Ghostface. That's not the issue.
No,
right.
It's just
that's
that
not
if
things Ghostface does.
If we are trying to solve the mystery of who Ghostface is, and you give us not breadcrumbs, but you just like literally like poop on the trail in front of us, it's like, well, that's not fair because I've been tagging who this is, and that doesn't line up. That's not that doesn't connect. I think Amber was unhinged and fun when she was revealed. I thought she was great. Mm-hmm. I liked to watch her burn on the stove. She did the first Scream fire stunt.
Well, no, that's you know how I knew she was a killer in that previous one?
Because she was crazy?
Well, no, because she was a killer in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Oh, that's right.
And she also
got burned on fire to that. Yeah.
So when that happened, I was like, oh, well, they hired her for this role because of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
That's what I thought too.
So I was like, I already knew it was her.
She even did the whole running with the knife like she did in Once Upon a Time.
Also, if somebody is filmed with Ghostface in the beginning of the movie and they don't die, just assume it's them. Because like they showed Ghostface like before they attacked Jenny Ortega. Yeah. They showed like Amber from outside her window. That's obviously they're connected.
Yeah. One thing I did really like, well, I mentioned this earlier where they moved away from the whole, I'm a movie fan of the stab movies and stuff like that, where in the convenience store, it was obviously the dad, and he's like, I don't care. Oh, no, it's not the convenience store. When he kills
Who gives a shit about movies?
Yeah, who gives a shit about movies?
I like
and
that.
I was like, that's cool because now they can take the series away from this whole fandom thing.
I like that
because
too.
I was getting tired of it. I was like, all right,
get shackled to that concept.
Yeah. So I like that he jumped.
Well, that's why I thought it was Stu, because he was like, I don't give a fuck about.
Yeah, they didn't.
Did give a fuck
no, they didn't care about movies.
Yeah,
Stu did.
No, Stu he cared about.
It's all about the movies, Sid.
Well, it's all about the movies, but he didn't think it was going to be made into a movie.
Yeah, and I think, but I was hoping he'd be like, I threw away my life because of this, and now I'm coming back to take revenge.
The movie
right? Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was hoping. Also, there's a big problem with the guy. I don't even remember this new character's names because I don't really care that much. The male twin, who got stabbed literally 16 times in the chest and back, and then he's just being wheeled out at the end, like, hit thumbs up.
But to be fair, Dewey took his fair share.
Well, not that much. Not that much.
Well, he got like right up his spine,
and then his sister got stabbed twice in the stomach, and same thing. Ghostface went up with a Bowie knife that's designed to do that. And at the end, she literally runs up. At the end,
I was going to say, did
I miss the monologue again? Did I miss the monologue again? Come on, get the fuck.
That was literally the same evening. And she left the hospital with an open wound.
Dan not only left the hospital, but also ran up.
Literally
ran up. Hey, guys, did I miss the monologue again? Oh, by the way, is your brother alive? We don't know yet. Oh, he's alive. Great. Come on, get the fuck out of here.
Also, the... when the dad and Samantha charge each other, I was like...
That was the stupidest thing I've ever seen.
No, it was. And the fact that I was like, doesn't he still have bullets in his gun?
So like, there's a scene...
bullets are... guns are a close-range weapon in the Scream series.
He was in a clubber. So what happens in the movie, for
the
those who
same
haven't
way
seen
Dewey had to walk up to the unconscious Ghostface to shoot.
So... for those of you who don't know, Samantha, that's her name, right?
Yeah,
Sam. She passes the knife off to Jenna Ortega, who uses it against one of the killers, and then the father, who's also a cop and has a gun in his hand, that still has bullets in it. They confront each other face to face, and she literally runs at him, and he runs at her, and he's pointing the gun straight out, and doesn't shoot. And not only doesn't he shoot, as he gets near her, he moves the gun away from her face.
Well, he doesn't want to hit her.
He doesn't want to hit her, exactly.
That's rude.
And then she does it again when he has a backup weapon, and she starts stabbing him, and somehow I guess he drops it or he throws it away. I don't know. Instead of shooting her, as she's stabbing him,
Point Break shoot in the sky.
Yeah. Right. So when I was outside the theater, remember those guys? Those guys were outside the theater, and as we're walking by, someone was like, "Oh, it looks like you brought a gun to a charging fight." You know? It was like, exactly. So a lot of problems with that movie. I don't care. Also, I don't care about these new casts. I thought
I was
Sam
gonna
should have been
ask-
killed
They grew
off,
on me a
and
little
Jenna
more
Ortega.
this time.
Yeah,
I was gonna ask, do you feel that Nev Campbell was missed
Absolutely.
in this one?
100%.
No.
You don't think so?
Ooh.
No. Once again, same with Rocky, right? Mm-hmm. She has done enough for the series. She had a happy ending, and this movie would have done nothing to add her.
See, I feel like
true.
if they do another one, which it looks like they're
they're
still
definitely
making
gonna do another
money.
one.
Watson just said doo-doo.
I did say do.
Doo-doo.
Tune in to more Enter the Nerdom next week.
I think they will bring her back, and they might bring Matthew
But
Lillard
it
as the killer.
stinks.
I really hope they do.
Like
She
just
has her happy. Gail, when I was upset Sydney wasn't there until Gail said, Sydney has earned her happy ending.
Yeah.
Let's leave
That
her
makes sense.
alone.
Yeah,
and I was
that's
like,
true.
let's
yes.
not pay her any money.
I was
is
like,
what they said.
absolutely.
Well, that's what happened. Really,
I mean,
in real life, that's what happened.
Behind the scenes, I don't like what happened, but
Yeah. Nev Campbell asked for money, and they're like, no. And
Yeah.
she's like,
Yeah.
well, I'm
I'm like-
worth more than that. And I'm
Yeah.
glad she knows
Yeah,
her worth.
she carried
Which is
that
true,
film
yeah.
franchise on her back for
Well,
5 movies.
I think the fact that Courtney Cox surviving is like, okay, she'll be our in the next one since we won't
Well,
probably
I was
bring
hoping
back
Sam
Sydney.
would get killed off in this one, and Jenna Ortega would take over. That's what.
Yeah,
I was
no,
hoping.
that
Can't
was
you tell
that was the
all-
one thing I liked. I mean, I weirdly liked about this movie. I was like, for some reason, I like Jenny Ortega in this one more
Definitely.
than the previous one.
well, she was
She's so hot right now.
she's so hot right now.
She's a
Everything about-
child.
Well, we mean like
No, I know,
Popular.
I know,
Yeah,
I know.
Her brand.
I'm
I
is
totally
really
big.
think we need to
she's-
specify that.
Right.
Well,
She's
she
20
is,
years old.
She
She's
is
an
20, but she looks like
Yeah.
a kid.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not.
She
gonna,
does look like a kid, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I will say some of the newer members grew on me, but I feel like you could tell so many things were done in post of just like, Gail's alive on the phone. So, yeah, Gail's alive. Oh, the brother survives. Everyone survives.
Everyone
And
survives.
the twins
Yeah.
running
That's so
up.
crazy.
It's like Lord of the Rings when a bunch of like
They wanted a
kept
happy
going.
ending.
Yeah.
I think they're trying to keep the audience happy because right now their cast is so inclusive. Not to be, bring that up, but like they're just they're like, well, if we kill anyone off, we're gonna have to replace. But we already have them here. The 4 core. That's what they call themselves
Yeah.
in the movie.
Yeah,
or the
which
core
is
4.
really-
Sorry, the
yeah,
core
the
4.
core 4. Which-
But the thing was, I think Jenny Ortega's acting was way better than Sam Carpenter. I forget the real actress's name.
unfortunately.
In this
I'm
one.
not a big fan of that actress. I thought she did a good job.
She did
Sam, but
Yeah.
she kind of has like this kind of deadpan, kind of bored.
Yeah,
face,
yeah,
Like,
it was just like-
it's just okay.
And I'm done with the Billy ghost thing.
seriously,
Just
that should
stop.
Yeah,
Like
seriously.
I
That
kind
needs
of
to
wanted
stop.
her to die, so then we wouldn't get
too.
more of that.
I wanted Jenna Ortega to take over. They should have killed off one of the twins.
Yeah,
For sure.
Yeah.
You
Gail
got
should have
two
been
of them,
killed off.
Chad lives.
Yeah,
I can't be killed.
That's right.
we'll find out.
We'll definitely find out.
Have you guys ever played that Friday the 13th video game?
You talked about it. It
Yes,
sounds really good.
yeah.
It's only fun if you play with friends, but you have to like, if you're a camp counselor, you have to find pieces of whatever to either escape through a car or through a boat. And like you and your team have to get together while trying to run away from Jason. But if you're Jason, because you're outnumbered, you have some perks and you could do his little teleporting thing, which you have to refresh after some time. So you can't just spam it, but like you teleport, you can do like vanish for a while. It's so much fun. So if you guys are like interested in like a horror game, check that one out.
There's also the Dead by
Dead
Daylight,
by Daylight. I played
and then
that,
you could there's DLC of like all the famous killers you could be.
Yeah, Ghostface is on.
Ghostface is one of them. You could be in there
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
And stuff.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. So Oscars just recently came out. What did you guys think about some of the nominations? I mean, some of the wins.
I think everyone was not surprised.
No.
Yeah.
There
I
wasn't
feel like
any
it was the
big
most
like.
milk toast Oscars
Yeah, it
we've
was-
had in years. Of
Really?
just like
Well, that
everything was like what you thought it would be.
Right,
Like,
well,
you
that's
didn't
true.
care at all.
Yeah.
And then
There are
nothing.
definitely no surprises.
Nothing like they didn't flub up like they have the last
No.
few years. So you're like,
Yeah.
oh, I guess that's fine.
I mean, I did
I'm glad
like
the movie
you
won.
know, Everything Everywhere All at Once is a very like niche genre movie.
Yeah, which is
To see it do so well was great.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
sci-fi, kind of high concept stuff like that usually flies by people. They don't seem to connect to it.
Yeah.
So I'm happy for that cast. That cast is amazing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
well deserved.
And
I'm
yeah,
happy
so,
for Quan and you.
Yes.
Yeah,
I'm
absolutely.
happy for Brendan Fraser. And,
yeah,
That's
you
the
know.
thing. Like everything felt good.
Right.
It's not. I will say the biggest loss of the night was Marcel the Shell with shoes on.
Yeah.
That one hit hard because it was the best animated film.
You put a lot of money on that one too.
I did. I don't even remember what won because I was screaming.
Oh,
at the
Pinocchio,
screen.
wasn't it?
Oh, Pinocchio.
Yeah.
Oh, Pinocchio.
But me, Guillermo del Toro, we love.
A fascist Pinocchio.
What is
It's so stupid.
What are you talking about? It's a good movie.
It looked
to
beautiful, but it was so like
Yeah, I mean, I do love that.
Marcel was a good movie.
it had more like
I haven't seen Marcel.
there was a
though.
theme, huh, with animated movies this year about like
Right.
mortality and
Yeah,
Definitely.
death.
We were just,
Yet
we were
again,
just talking
it's
about Puss in
Because
Boots.
Marcel had to
That's
deal
because
with
of COVID,
that.
probably.
Puss in
It's
Boots
true.
dealt with death. Oh my god, Puss in Boots was great. And then Pinocchio was completely about death.
yeah.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
it was so good to see stop motion getting
Yeah,
so much
no.
that is
love
true.
this
It's
year.
definitely making a comeback.
But
Yeah.
Marcel should have won.
I mean, even
With the shoes on.
with the shoes.
With the shoes.
Marcel with the shoes on? That's the
Marcel
title?
the Shell with the shoes
Even
on.
Marcel the Shell had death in it.
With shoes
You know
on.
what?
With
I,
shoes
it,
on.
it probably didn't win because it was such a long title name. You know, Pinocchio's like nice and tight right there. Nice and tight. Nice and tight.
I mean, he has a point, Dan.
Marcel, was like if the announcer was like, and the winner is Marcel the Shell, Marcel the
With
Shell with
shoes
shoes on. With
Yeah.
shoes on.
With shoes on.
Yeah.
With the shoes.
With
Don't
shoes on.
confuse it. It's not Marcel the Shell. It's Marcel the Shell with shoes on.
That's what I said. Marcel
Yeah.
the Shell with shoes on.
My question is, how can a shell die? The grandmother dies in Marcel's shell. That was a beautiful scene, by the way. But how does a shell die?
Oh, I didn't see the movie, but
Yeah.
whatever.
Right.
Well, the grandma,
Way into spoilers.
the grandmother's shell
If we
is
didn't
viciously
spoil
murdered.
a decade
Oh,
of
God.
Scream movies, also
Right.
Yeah,
Do
and then
they?
The
Marcel,
Ghostface killer kills the shell.
yeah, and then Marcel has to go seek revenge. That's
A
what the
human,
whole
a
I will-
human
okay.
sucks up the innards of
God.
like a clam. And
I
like,
can't say how a shell dies, but I will say I pick up snails when it rains off the sidewalk.
And you
that's a
crush 'em.
serial
So-
killer habit right there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
seriously.
yeah, but I'm a serial killer for like 60 other reasons too. That's probably the most vanilla
Clip
thing
that.
I do.
Clip that.
Yeah.
You don't. Can we actually get that clean?
Yeah.
But
You
like
need that for evidence later.
what I
don't eat
didn't
them, do you?
realize with snails is the ones I found are like smaller than a needle point, like of just a shell, a shell that is like the tip of a felt pen.
Yeah.
That's how big their shell is, and then the shell grows, which I did not know this is how snails work.
We're all learning something now.
No, it's fascinating, but like I didn't know that. I thought they were like
You thought they
hermit crabs where they like
find a
sort
new
of go
shell?
into a shell, but like they literally grow with a shell. They're born with the shell that grows with it, and they start the size of like a pin drop. It's insane. So as far as eating them and dying, maybe it's the same thing where they just sort of like they come from nothing, they go to nothing.
Wait, you eat
Makes
snails?
sense.
Escargot, technically.
yeah.
I don't eat them, but
Oh, okay. Well, no, I know.
I don't eat the
I
ones
know-
I find.
I know in France they eat escargot, you know, but you seemed like you were talking that you ate
no, I don't pick
snails.
up the snails and eat them.
I mean, it's okay if you do.
He's got a little hibachi.
Little, yeah, you could heat them up. You could salt them. Little
I have
shrimp.
enough to feed on from the victims in my garage.
Oh well,
Oh,
that
that-
makes
well,
sense.
that's
That makes
nice.
sense, yeah.
Not animals, not
If they
animals.
just had human shells,
No.
you'd be happy.
No, you're
Yeah.
not. You're not a monster.
I'm not a psycho.
You're not a monster.
Yeah.
I mean, after seeing
Little
Marcel the
animals.
Shells with shoes on, you kind of make your own shell out of people.
Shell
and
suit.
and then walk around
Shell-
with it.
By the way, if you're playing a drinking game at home, drink every time we say
See.
Marcel the Shell with shoes. And then you have to say it each time and see if you can still say it without slurring.
So they'll have to rewind and play that back. So after
I'm sorry, do you
just
not
said
want
it.
more plays?
Well, no,
on
we
this?
do. So I'm saying
Yeah,
yes,
there you
rewind
go.
and play the shot game.
Yeah.
Right there. Yeah.
Yes. Movies that we also at Watson recently saw was 65.
Okay, yeah. So I
Yeah,
didn't
please
see-
tell us about this.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Because this looks
Right
horrendous.
around
I made a
16.
great choice.
It's
Instead
got one of my
not
favorite actors
seeing-
in it, who's
yes.
also a fellow veteran. But
Yeah, no, Adam Driver's great.
Adam's
boy.
career choices are strange. Maybe he needed another wing on his house. I don't
He's
know.
rich enough to
Yeah,
earn it.
I decided not to go see the other blockbuster, which is Scream 6 this weekend, to see 65.
What is wrong with you?
Because I fucking love dinosaurs, okay? I love
See, I didn't
dinosaurs.
know what this movie's about, so I'm like, what the hell is he talking
Did I-
about?
Okay.
Yeah, please give us a synopsis.
All right,
of what
so-
the plot is.
So it's not a big spoiler because I did it in the goddamn
Yeah,
trailer.
we wouldn't want to spoil
So,
anything on this show.
Yeah.
So Adam Driver plays a space trucker guy who
Is that really what he is?
he's okay. So
I thought he was like a scientist or something.
no, he's
Get
more.
the
He's a
fuck outta here.
pilot,
Oh god.
and he's got to truck a bunch
You mad
of
at the movie you didn't see?
Yeah, he's
Fuck
got to
this
truck a
movie.
bunch of people in cryostasis across the galaxy to get to from his planet, Sporgon 6 to Splegon 7, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And
Don't know if he's joking.
It's close to it. But, and then on the way, he gets hit by an asteroid, and the ship goes down on a hostile planet. Turns out to be Earth 65 million years ago.
Oh, shit.
Dun, dun, dun. Right?
But you can't do that.
Right. Well, he comes out of the pod and stuff, and he's all sweaty.
Damn
and
it.
there's the footprint,
Damn you all.
Exactly. So it's space guy versus dinosaurs, and I'm like, excellent. This is gonna be
On paper, that sells, baby.
It's 90 minutes. It's a clean 90-minute. Just go around. Let's just shoot some dinos in the face.
I love Turok.
No joke. No fucking joke.
They
I have been pitching a Turok movie for years. I want to see some Turok action. This does not deliver. It's very much like, they filmed this on a weekend in like Yellowstone Park, and Adam Driver's wearing like funny spacesuit and running around.
Cadillacs and dinosaurs, basically.
I wish. Yet again, that would have been good.
Such good.
There's so much of this movie that had potential, and it baffles me that like you pick Adam Driver's not your this should have been a Channing Tatum joint, you needed a guy with a little bit more, I don't know, like not
was
pizzazz,
this Disney?
but no, this is like 7 different producing companies on it.
I know what you mean, because Adam Driver's like very serious. He carries a weight. Yeah.
And they give him his character that he's a father he's basically the whole story is his kid is sick, and he's the only way to make the money for her treatment is if he does this 2-year mission in space. And so so he goes off to do this 2-year mission, crashes on Earth, and then basically is like, well, I'm screwed. All the pods the cryopods that are on the ship have all been destroyed. Everyone's dead except for him. And he's about to I'm just getting my life. Screw this. And then he gets a beacon that one of the pods is active. So he goes and searches it out, and it's a little girl, played by, I forgot the actress's name, but she plays young Gamora in Infinity War.
Oh,
She's fantastic.
There's also like how Captain EO starts, by the way.
Yeah, pretty
much.
And so it's their trek to get to the escape pod, which is up the side of a mountain, to get off planet, basically. And that's the story. It's a very simple, tight story. And it's got, I call it, I'm coining the phrase BDE, Big Dad Energy. It's very Mandalorian. It's very Last of Us. It's like, it's a good time to be a dad right now.
Yeah.
And so, and it's him trying to get off planet. And they did do a great thing. I mean, the dinos are scarce. They're not in the movie throughout the whole thing. And because he's an alien, he has no connection to Earth. So it's like, to him, these are just monsters, right?
Yeah.
So he's got a gun. He's got like a little laser pistol and stuff. And they make him really vicious, which is nice. Like right off the bat, he's scouring around looking for supplies, and this dog-sized velociraptor just leaps at him and goes after him, and you're like, Jesus Christ. And there's multiple sizes and types of dinos through the movie, but they're very, very sparse.
Okay.
And I wish he just, and he's trying to connect with this girl who doesn't speak his language. And he, my trans, I can't translate what you're saying. And so they're trying to get off world. And, I thought, okay, and there's this ticking time bomb of so the asteroids that hit his ship is the part of the asteroids that's coming to Earth.
Oh.
So I've got 12 hours to get off planet before this planet is destroyed. Basically.
Oh shit. Okay.
So there's this, ticking clock of gotta get to the pod. And, it's a good movie, but not a great movie, and it could have been a great movie.
So this is, I thought that he went back in time 65 million years.
No.
So he is
completely an alien species, basically.
I thought he was human.
No, he's human looking.
Oh, I see.
I know, I thought, there was things I was like, oh, he's going to decide to stay on planet, and that's how humans start
that's what I thought.
Or something.
Yeah.
No, it's very much got to get off planet before this asteroid hits.
Is it better or worse than the live-action Flintstones?
Ooh.
Brownie.
How
hard to tell.
The CG for the dinosaurs, how'd that look though?
It shifted around a lot. I mean, some bits look really great. There's a lot of fights in the rain, fights in dark spaces. There's one period of the movie they're stuck in caves, and there's a dino in there that you don't see. It's a lot of like sharp like attacks at
The John
at him and
Cena
stuff like
dino,
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
The John Cena Saurus.
God damn it, that's good. But there's sometimes it just looks really bad. But it's all over the board. But it's good. It's like a good film. That's a good rental, I'd say.
Okay.
But I just Adam Driver was. I don't want to say miscast because I know he's got the military background, and this is like the first time you kind of see him use that in a movie, and so you buy it when he's like scoping stuff out. But I don't know. He didn't have that. It felt like he was doing this as a favor for someone. Like he wasn't having fun with it.
Yeah, well, we were saying that he lost a bet somewhere.
Right,
or,
exactly.
Yeah, or he definitely owed someone a favor.
Yeah,
exactly.
So I'm glad to see dinos on the big screen. I'm glad to but boy,
when it comes to a movie like that, I would want them to go balls to the wall crazy, where like have the dinosaurs talk. Like for some reason we didn't know back then that they talked.
I thought
and
like okay,
I
thought like he's gonna kill out the dinosaurs. It's not gonna be the asteroid.
Right.
He's gonna be like these fucking things need to die.
My name
right
is Asteroid.
Right, exactly. Asteroid. Yeah.
Or no, the ship had
My name is Ass.
on the
Asteroid.
on the side of his ship. It spells asteroid, but with a spelling out.
Yeah.
I've come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass.
Right, like something like that been a wacky and fun.
I'm here to gentrify Earth. All these lizard fucks can go.
Yeah, but this definitely this gets my Morbius prize of the year. I think. This is gonna be like,
wow, Morbius prize.
Because it's like it's such a bizarre movie with such a big name actor, and it like literally came out. I mean, Morbius came out like the same time last year, so I'm like, I feel like this is the dog shit time of dumping movies now. I don't know.
So you wouldn't say it's good soup? Good soup?
No, I wouldn't say that. It's more of a bad date.
That's a reference, to the meme of Adam Driver and girls when he's having some soup and he's like, good soup.
That's right.
Hey, that's not good radio for size.
Can I leave during the podcast?
Guys, we got to talk about Mandalorian. It just the latest
Speaking
episode.
Of big dad energy.
Yeah, that's why I was bringing it over. Yeah. So I haven't watched the latest episode. But that's okay. You can spoil. What do you guys think of the series so far? Dan, are you watching it?
I haven't seen the new series.
Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. Never mind.
I didn't know it was on until yesterday.
I've only seen season 1 and 2. I didn't get to watch the. But you guys can obviously.
It's doing pretty well. I think. Yeah. I mean, it's
3 episodes in.
The first episode is certainly it goes to it's like you're playing a video game. You got to do this thing to get to the next thing. Thing. Like, hey, can I use the bathroom? Well, the key to the bathroom is on top of the castle. You have to go. In order to get up there, you have to find the key to the door. That kind of shit.
I feel like the first episode had to deal with. A lot of people didn't watch Book of Boba Fett, and we got to set up why Grogu is there suddenly. So it's a lot of like, hey man, Mando, what's with the little guy's back with you? And he's like, yeah, this thing happened, and this,
Yeah,
there's
that's what everyone loves, exposition dumps.
Right. But I love
to explain why the merchandise is back on the screen.
Exactly. But they're getting into the lore. This second episode dealt with a lot of like he had to go to Mandalore, yeah, but he had to what's the word he was saying? Like he had to
he had to bathe under the mines of Mandalore,
the lake or waters,
the living waters.
Here's the problem with that, right? They were saying Bo-Katan says you can't go to Mandalore. The air is too toxic to breathe. It's uninhabitable now, right?
So he had to get a droid to go.
He had to get a droid to go test exactly. So he had to get a droid to go test the air to see if it's breathable. Okay, first of all, why wouldn't they just send like some probe droid years before that and say, hey, is the Earth breathable? I think they have the technology to do it. Something tells me they have the technology to do it.
Well, in the end, it didn't even matter because
right. So then he gets out and he's like, okay, I'll just seal my mask and walk around that way, my helmet and walk around that way. I'm like,
by the way, I have oxygen. Yeah.
Now, why didn't you do that in the first place? What do you need the droid for?
Yeah.
He was lazy.
Yeah, so I think at some point the Mandalorian, especially Bo-Katan, would have been like, gee, I wonder if that air is still breathable. We should send a droid to go test the air.
Well, if COVID pandemic taught us anything, it's just if there's a reason that humanity's just going to give up, it's anything.
Well, that's true.
Because I'm sure that the Mandalorians were just like, well, I ain't going. Well, I'm not going.
Yeah.
You mean I have to wash my hands after I piss on them? No, I'm not going to Mandalore anymore.
And then more dad energy, more BDE. Last of Us just recently
So which one of these shows is the one where Pedro Pascal watches over a little shit?
So that would be none of them.
Oh, wow.
Okay. Yeah. So another Pedro Pascal show where he watches another little shit.
Yep.
Is The Last of Us, and what did everybody finish it?
Yeah.
I only know of this show through listening to you guys.
Why weren't you checking it out?
Because I listen to you guys, so I'm like, well, I get it.
You're not interested in watching it at all?
No, I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, it's
I've never played the game either.
it definitely could. Yeah, well, I mean, I think we've all played the game, but
I wanted to say
could have been better.
I worked with someone today who
brag.
I know.
Oh, I have a job.
But they were saying that the show's not great, and I was like, really? And they were like, well, do you play the game? I'm like, yeah. And he's like, oh, I've never played the game. So I think it's a different perspective if you've never played the game.
Yeah.
Because the
see
game
that.
has like
I can see
56 hours to win you, and
Right.
the show has
Right.
like 12.
Yeah.
Also, Ellie is a little more sympathetic in the game than she is in this. I think that Bella Ramsey's doing a good job.
I think her character in the last 2 episodes comes a long way.
A long way for sure.
Because I don't think it would have worked as well if she got immediately along with Pedro or Joel like earlier in this show, because they at least need to use some kind of adversity between the two for a while, and since it's only 9 episodes, you can't I mean, the last 2, that's a perfect time to really get them together, like on the same page with each other.
Yeah.
And no, I thought it was really great, and like the liberties they took with, or how they showed the ending was well done. Like I like the subdued music when he's going through the hospital.
Oh, yeah. And you see what a force he is.
Yeah.
Just like,
when he really, like, I gotta say, I think I like this more than Mandalorian. I don't. That's me. I love Star Wars.
It carries a lot more weight than Mandalorian.
It does, because it's also more depressing than.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. Yeah.
But with Mandalorian, I just think I kind of wished for this new season that Grogu didn't come back, and I know he's a fan favorite.
No, I agree.
I
thought
focus more on Pedro's character, because I don't know much about his character, or I'm not that attached. Like, I'm just like, oh well, he's watching after this little guy, and that's all. That's it.
I'm sure the show changed huge dynamically when Grogu was a huge hit. Like, because I'm sure it was going to be like this story of him getting the thing back, and then finally like getting into like what a Mandalorian
I thought,
is.
originally I thought it was going to be more like an anthology show, because it's called The Mandalorian, but there's more than one Mandalorian.
That is true.
I thought,
That is
we're
true.
going to jump from like Din Djarin to Bo-Katan to like
That would have been very
That'd
cool.
been awesome. Yeah.
so. But then yet again, it's like, how do you sell stuffed Grogu's that way?
Yeah.
You
No,
can't.
I think originally they were okay. We're gonna have Grogu. He's gonna go through this thing. They had the season laid out with Grogu, and then he's gonna go over to the Jedi, and then Mandalorian's gonna move on and do his own thing. But now he's so big that Disney is now insisting.
And then everyone's like, well, what do I do with my doll?
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, that was the big
I spent
thing.
$80 on the one that shits on me.
That's the thing with the Razor Crest too. Was Hasbro put out?
Yes. Fuck yes.
Hasbro put out the HasLab Razor Crest ship.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah.
And they blew it up at the end of season 2, was it? They blew it up,
Yeah.
and people were pissed. Like, I just spent $100 on this ship, and
Yeah.
you took it out of the show.
Well, see, this is why we're not phased, because there was a
Right.
new Power Ranger droid or
Right.
Megazord
Megazord
every
season.
Yeah.
season. So
Yeah.
we were like, yeah, of course you got to buy a new one.
Yeah.
You're not going to get the Super Ultra Lightning Mega Xyno Zegazord?
Well, I think also people
with
are,
your shell.
Yeah, with the shell.
With
That's
shoes
extra.
on.
With shoes on.
back in the day, we were more willing to buy multiple toys over and over again.
Yeah.
And nowadays, people are a little smarter and not as dumb to be
Not
like,
over
well,
here, sorry.
I mean, no. I mean,
not quite.
I just bought another Batmobile and Batwing.
Yes,
Well, no,
for
we're
$300.
We're from the toy of Christmas past. We was like, oh, we didn't get this stuff when we were kids, so we got to make up
all the
for
best
it.
merchandise came out when we were younger, but we didn't have money to buy it.
That's
And
true.
now we have money and can't afford homes.
We had parents who cared, and I was like,
Yeah, they like bought us food and clothes and shit.
What a
And
bunch
I was
of
like,
assholes.
fucking get me the Ghostbusters fire station
Yes.
or go to hell, Mom.
I don't need dinner tonight. Just let me play with these toys.
yeah,
Make
I need the
nuggets
trap
for
to
$1.
go with the proton pack. Come on.
I will say this: I was in a store the other day at the Topanga Canyon Mall,
Yeah.
And it's just full of just toys and pop figures. And where I was sending you guys the pictures.
Oh yeah.
And I was just standing there looking around and be like, oh my god, I could totally buy whatever I want in here, but I don't want to.
Brag. Come on.
Yeah.
It's the power to be able to. And
But
not.
exactly. But 12-year-old me would have been so proud of myself. But I would have spent all my money in there. But I was like, I'll buy.
I do love going down the toy
I
aisle
bought
at
the
Target.
mat outside my house here. The
I
Nintendo
mean,
thing.
to buy something now, I'm like, am I gonna play with it? I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna play with it. That's what I'm gonna do.
You know what I justify it like?
No.
Let's say I go to. I don't mean to brag. I go to a lot of events that cost like a lot of money sometimes for like these things.
Yeah.
Don't
you're
like
garbage.
to brag.
You're
Because I'm
garbage
like,
at it.
because I'm like really rich and good looking, so like it's a radio show, no one could tell. So
because you're part of the 1% pig.
but like, so if like, but those events, like, say it's like $50 to like go to this concert or something like that. It's like, well, that's a one-time thing. So like, if the enjoyment is going to be like worth
The experience,
Right.
yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
So like,
Yeah.
that's why if like you buy a game for like $60, and even if it lasts you like a week before you're done with it, it's like, well, if I did something else for a week straight, it would have been more than $60. It's like coffee out in California.
That's why I spend so much money on the Halloween haunts, because it's like it's fun. It's once a year, and fuck. I worked hard for this. That's how I justify it.
Yeah,
Fuck it, I worked hard
absolutely.
for it. I'm gonna spend $200 on it.
and we'll never own a home.
Well,
No.
It's 2023.
and all of this putting ourselves in debt, it'll keep us from going on killing sprees and stuff like that. It keeps me inside.
I got to keep working.
Yeah, I got to keep
Or
working.
it'll be the
keep
reason
working.
we do.
Yeah, I mean, who knows?
Hey, is there another topic that's less incriminating? We can talk about?
We got that bank job on Wednesday.
we're still recording.
yeah.
Mr. Pink, be quiet, please.
Sorry, my bad.
Say mic off before you say shit.
Oh,
Yeah,
mic
seriously.
off. Cut
Okay.
this out. Cut this out.
Yeah, Bank of America on East. Yeah.
And then I got to mention this. Willow's been canceled.
Oh,
Just
yes.
Thank God.
Why are you
Thank the
smiling
maker.
ear to ear?
Thank the maker. It was. Did you guys watch it at all? Any?
I didn't finish it because it was just too painful.
How far did you get?
I think I was like 4 episodes
You
in.
got further than me, dude.
Yeah.
I did it.
I heard you guys shitting on it, so I didn't
Yeah.
watch it.
I did the first two,
Did,
and I was like,
what's his name? Mad Mulligan show up?
No,
No.
exactly.
Unless they like do a thing at the end of the
Mad
series.
Mardigan does not show up.
Mardigan,
I mean, I don't
yes.
think he does. But at the
No.
beginning of the show, they say he ran off and left his wife and kids, who were the two.
Doesn't sound like
Yeah.
Mad Mardigan.
Exactly. All right.
Deadbeat dead energy.
And so
That doesn't work in a show.
Yeah.
That's
all.
why it's canceled.
That's right.
That's why. Yeah, he got canceled.
Bad Dad Mardigan.
And so the show is just not good. It was poorly written. How would you think of it, Chad?
The fact that it's called Willow and it didn't really follow his character too
At
much,
all?
kind of like, this is not what I'm here for. I'm here for Warwick Davis, Like,
And it broke my heart because I love the original movie. Like
Yeah.
I think it was I was 8 or 9 when it came out, so it was like I was that target demographic. I still love it to this day. It's a fun movie. It's a fun like action, adventure, fantasy movie. So I was like really looking forward to seeing like Willow, Warwick Davis in action again. And obviously for pretty obvious reasons, we can't have Madame Mardigan back.
Yeah.
But I was hoping that it was just going to be another fun show like the original movie was, and it was just terrible.
Do you think it would have worked better as like a movie special, like on Disney
Absolutely.
Plus, instead of trying to drag it out into a series?
Like a 2-hour movie would have been perfect, man. But the problem is that, like, I mean, aside from the horrendous acting and the really bad writing, it just took like.
But other than that,
Besides those little details.
Exactly. Yeah, there was just a bunch of like plot. Okay, so I think
the craft service was great.
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, it looks good, but that's about it. Like there's the overall plot is that the prince of this of Shorsha's son, who is now the prince,
Sound like you've been drinking.
is that's her name. That's
Shorsha.
That's
Take a
Queen
shot.
Shorsha. That's her name. Her son, who is the prince, is kidnapped, and instead of sending her entire army, which we see that she has, she sends her daughter, the princess, which I think that's pretty important. Another high-born lord,
yeah,
who's a kid, and then 2 guys who are kind of warriors, and then this warrior in training who's her like love interest.
Obviously, you never played D&D, but when you're making a raiding party, that's exactly
what you go with. Yeah.
You wouldn't get an army.
So yeah, it was just I don't know, it was just a terrible show that I just couldn't hang. I couldn't do it.
Did you guys ever play Willow the video game?
Yes.
For NES?
I didn't even know there was a video game.
Oh yeah,
I didn't know.
It was like Zelda a little bit, where you would go exploring through towns and then go into caves and stuff.
Yeah.
And you would actually fight top-down style like Zelda.
Oh,
as
that's
well.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I just think, it would have been way more interesting because Willow, Warwick Davis's character, runs his community of small people.
I run this town.
And I was like, this place is cool, and like these characters are interesting. Let's stay with them. Let's stay here. And like,
Right.
But the thing is, as they meet up with the party that you were talking about, the search party, only 2 of them, Warwick Davis and then another person from his community joined them, and I'm like, you kind of just removed a whole cast of possible people that don't get on screen too much.
Yeah.
And I was like, why not?
They could have been like Time Bandits or something.
Yeah, I mean, and the fact,
awesome.
don't get me started on Time
Time
Bandits,
Bandits.
because the new one that who's the director of Thor in Love? God, what's his name?
Taika
Sorry,
Waititi.
I'm blanking on his name. Taika Waititi. I believe he's removing small people from the Time Bandits, so it's going to be like regular kids or I don't know, teens. I'm not sure what, but I'm like, the fact that you removed that, I was like, why?
We're the tween bandits.
That's not making fun of
We're the
anybody.
Goonies too.
Yeah.
They were fun to watch in the original. I saw that with you in the theaters.
Yeah.
Time
And,
Bandits.
Yeah,
Time Bandits.
Yeah,
We
it's
saw
a
it
great
at the
movie.
It's a
Lemley.
mind
the
fuck of a
Lemley. Yeah,
movie.
it's
a weird
great.
movie, but it's fun.
It's
Yeah.
fun, yeah. But so I the fact that that's changed is, I hope it does badly then.
Give
if
people
they're not
work.
if they're not in it. So, But yeah, no, I think Willow could have went a different route and it could have been way better. But
Yeah, and also the kids talk like they live in Los Angeles in 2023, and they're supposed to be in some kind of fantasy. And
hey,
it's just-
Los Angeles is a fantasy, guys.
Hell
That's true.
yeah, baby. Live that dream. What's your dream, sweetheart?
The fortnight of rains have created a new river of I don't know.
You would do anything to plug Fortnite.
Yeah.
They don't need your money, Chad.
Well, speaking of Fortnite, video games. Segue.
Wow.
That's a smooth segue.
You're really good at this. How many
Hey,
episodes
Pull
in?
up that brake handle and just slide right into that, huh?
Just call me Vin Diesel.
Tokyo drifted into that segue. So, video games.
So speaking of
Fortnite is a video game.
Yeah, Chad, what about them?
I believe you wanted to talk about some indie video games
Yeah,
that you really
tell me.
enjoy and like.
Break it down for us, Dan.
Yeah.
So, I am not much of a big AAA game guy.
Oh no.
Mainly because I'm not huge with time investment for those types of games, and I'm not really good at them. But I do love independent games that some of these I'll mention have snowballed into big popular ones like Undertale. Everyone knows about Undertale now. Deltarune, which is just an amalgamation of Undertale. It's the sequel to it. I played recently a game called Amori, which is this insanely, hauntingly beautiful, scary, fun game where this tragic thing has happened in the past, but you are sort of living through this character's dreamscape, and these haunting things will flash by and try to creep into his dream, but it's full of playful memories, and you realize that these are like his dreams he's having of him and his friends when they were younger, but then something reveals itself that is so horrifying and so beautiful at the same time. I cried when I got to the ending, and I just it was one of those games where I sat there with it for like a half hour and just in silence, just wow, let it sit, which is, just like with the anime, it's if something resonates with me,
It's got good storytelling, yeah.
I don't want to let it go. How some people will see a movie and then immediately pull up YouTube, or they'll do something right after.
Yeah.
If it catches me like that, I just want to sit in that for as long as I can.
I played a game much like that. Well, it affected me like that. This is a few years back. I haven't been gaming in a while, but Tale of Two Brothers.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
Called.
Yes.
Really good.
That it messed me up on a very like down to my core level. The game is, it's a very simple mechanic. You play as two characters and you have to do tasks together. And, your left hand is doing one character, right hand is the other.
Mm-hmm.
And then, spoiler alert, but during the course of the game, one of the brothers dies. And then you have to replay it's the same mechanics, but you do it solo.
Oh, wow.
And how hard it is now to do it without
Oh, wow.
that second person.
That game hurts.
Brutal.
Yeah.
But it's beautifully done. I'd say everyone play it if you want your heart broken.
There's that's the really neat thing about independent video games is they can take their time because they're not backed by some corporate, company like, oh, we got to get it out quick. You got to spit it out faster. But
Yeah.
so they can be,
There's no expectation.
Yeah. So they could take their time with the story, the creative gameplay, and the artwork too, because
Oh, the art is stunning in these games.
Yeah.
like even back in the day, like Limbo, where it's just black and white.
Limbo's
Limbo,
great.
not a single word of dialogue,
Yeah.
but it says so much in that story.
Yeah.
And a lot of these things fall into like lore and hidden lore and what you as the player can discover on your own without things being told outright to you. And an example, I played Doki Doki Literature Club, which on the surface is a fake dating simulator. It is supposed to be like this jokey thing about these girls and who are you going to talk sweet to and who are you going to go out on the date with. And it becomes this demented psychological existential thing where these characters are trapped in this simulation and they're forced to go through this thing through this corporation, and the things that they possess are getting tweaked with and they're stuck in this manipulation. It is so sad at the end, but then like there's a little ray of hope and it's just enough to be like, wow, like that. But the thing is, you have to find these hidden things by like, some things are you'll discover if you pick something or choose a selection while you're doing the story. And then other things are like, if you happen to be playing during this time on this date, a hidden message will pop up and that'll lead you to a secret code that'll take you to this website that'll reverse the code for the go down rabbit holes of shit like that. Like FNAF, like Five Nights at Freddy's will do that.
Advanced catfishing.
Catfishing. And the girls is hot.
Oh, yeah. What's the name of this game?
Write it down. Doki Doki
Doki.
Literature Club.
I think I downloaded that by accident. I thought it was Bumble.
Yeah.
And I was like, what's going on here?
There's only 4 chicks on this.
But they dig me.
Yeah, but they all want me.
Oh, man.
I like this app. But I just yesterday, I finished playing it again, but Oxenfree. It is one of my favorite games, and it is this young teenager who is about to go to college, but she gets together with her friends on a beach right before, and there's like a little tension between some of them, and there's a little disconnect between some. But they go to this cave, and she uses her little radio signal, and it communicates with this other dimension. And the dimension is more like there's this haunting story of a submarine, because they're on an island, a little island they went to on a ferry. But the submarine got destroyed in the 50s, and now these ghosts are trying to come through and possess the people so they can be free because they're trapped, and it pains them to be stuck there. But at the same time, they're empathetic and they want to give these kids a chance. So like there's this whole push and pull of like, this girl has this beautiful story where her brother passed away, and that's where the tension's coming from because his ex-girlfriend that he was going to marry is there too, and she blames her for making him drown because they were the only ones together, and he drowned in the beach. So there's tension there. And then if you do enough of the backstories, because the ghosts are taking you back in time, it's a complete time loop narrative. But if you do certain things, there's 50 different endings of what can happen. One of them can bring your brother back if you do certain things. Other times you can sacrifice certain people to get some things you want, some things you don't. I love options. I love a game that I can play 50 times in a 4-hour loop and get different things.
Yeah.
Isn't there? Because I remember you said you got it for your Switch and you got it for the PS4.
Yeah.
The PS4 has the mechanic of the radio in the game to come through the
Yes. Chad told me that. Chad was the reason I got it basically for the PS4 because
the speaker in the controller.
Yeah, because like when you do the walkie-talkie, like there's one haunting radio sounds while you're trying to tune into like certain things because it's a mechanism in the game to like find these things on the island. But it would come out of the speaker, and I'd play it in a dark room. I'd have like the window cracked open on like a cool night, and like
cars for kids. Is that playing through it?
That's terrifying.
But I will say, like, the thing about these games is they're like sometimes $15-$25, and I play these things religiously because they're just like they're so beautiful. The music is gorgeous in all of these games, and once again, like. Stuff doesn't stick with me like that. I enjoy a lot of things, but I'll forget. Chad knows I have a terrible memory.
Yeah, all the good times we have, he does not remember.
That's why I don't remember us having good times together.
That's why we're all wearing name tags.
Yeah. Well, thanks, Steve. But yeah, like I will say this. I know we're running long, but like I just bought Elden Ring. Because I wanted to give it a shot. I had this weird, just like it was 2 a.m. I don't sleep at night. But like it was 2 a.m. and I was thinking of like Elden Ring, and I was like, I really want to play a Dark Souls game, but I can't be good at it. I've never played it before. It's ridiculous. So Chad and I cracked the box open. We got it. Chad was with me the first time I played it, and we'd switch off. Yeah. And it's just it's very, it's not scary. And I'm saying this. I'm not a good game player, and it's if you tackle it with just like enough sensibility,
right,
you can do it. I got pretty far, not like far as the game goes. I'm like 5% in, but like I can now like walk around and like kill things and not like scream and run away from stuff. But like it's not as daunting, and I will say like the story is also hidden in the game too. Like it doesn't come right out and tell you what the story is, which I find that part in the world is beautiful in that way. But I will say like if you guys were looking to try some independent games, those ones I mentioned are excellent starters. But also don't be afraid of these AAA blockbusters that seem intimidating, because in a million years I would have never played this game, and it was actually so addicting because you always constantly are like, well, what's around this corner? What's around this corner? And if something is going to kill you, run away and do something else.
That's just good life advice.
That's,
you know,
hey, man.
Exactly.
It's the opposite of a horror movie. You know, you
Chad, look out behind you.
No, I'm ready.
Uh-oh.
I'm ready.
I know he's there.
I've been waiting.
Sorry, I rambled for so long. I get on those
fine.
tangents when because no one listens to me in real life. Dan, we know you like freaking Doki Doki. Yeah?
Seriously, Dan.
You like looking at hot, scary girls. Great.
Hey, who doesn't?
That seems to be a thing. Just horror stuff with anime schoolgirls seems to tie in with my life a lot.
Well, you know, it's a hard thing to get away from.
Is
You
it?
When you know what you like, you know.
Yeah, I got to type. What can I say?
Dan, I got to ask you: have you watched any of Picard or Strange New Worlds? Because you're the only other Star Trek fan here.
I've only watched the original show.
You watch Voyager and Next Generation.
No.
What?
Only the original show.
But that was only recently too, like the past
5 years ago.
5 years, yeah.
Yeah.
You've never watched Next Generation. You watched these?
No.
None of the movies.
No, I think it must have been 5 years because I was watching it with my dad.
Well, no, what we did was we showed you the episode that connected to Wrath of Khan. Then we watched Wrath of Khan.
Oh, wow.
Then you wanted to watch the whole original series.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wasn't that 5 years ago?
Yeah, about. I think.
Yeah. But they introduced me to the movies, and then I went back to watch the show for some context, and I love the show was like space Twilight Zone.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh yeah, the original series. Yeah, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
Like very, very before its time kind of writing.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And they just was like doing a lot of moral because they knew they were kind of shortchanged with a budget. They couldn't do crazy spectacle, but they could do a lot of cool thought pieces.
Yeah.
if you will.
Yeah.
You know.
And the whole thing, like the Kobayashi Maru,
Yeah.
is like they introduce the show with like, there's this unsolvable problem. How do you solve it?
Right.
Find a way.
Right.
You know, and it's like that's the whole theme of the show, and it's beautiful, really.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you'd like Next Generation, so I thought you would have
Don't
watched
tell
that.
me
Next
about
Generation is
Yeah.
fantastic.
It's
I don't
great.
listen
So
to the
I mean,
show
so you're another. Are you guys Star Trek fans? I don't
Yeah,
know.
no, I don't know.
Chad likes
like,
the green girls with the boobs.
Well, yeah. Well,
I mean,
we all do.
who doesn't? But no, I jumped around a lot. I never watched like religiously or continuously, but like I did watch bits of Voyager and Next Generation. I never actually went through all of the original.
DS9.
Yeah.
DS9's great. Yeah.
That's a great.
I never got into
Picard's getting into it now.
Yeah.
the,
if you're
Mm-hmm.
if you're up to date with
Up
Picard.
to yeah, exactly.
I never got into the, what was the prequel, Andromeda? Is that it?
Enterprise.
And no. It was with the guy who was the Quantum Leap guy.
Yeah, Enterprise.
Enterprise.
That's what it was called.
Yeah,
Enterprise.
It was
Really?
called Star
So
Trek.
that just
Yeah,
goes
at
to
first
show
it was
you.
Enterprise, and they're like, "Oh, we need to add to Star Trek." So it was
Yeah.
Star Trek
Oh,
Enterprise. Yeah.
Andromeda is the
It-
Kevin
that's
Sorbo.
Kevin Sorbo.
So-
Which was also written by Gene Roddenberry.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
why.
it was.
Same writer.
It was
as
his
that.
Hercules spinoff.
It,
Yeah.
it was. It was.
Yeah.
Hey, I loved Hercules and Xena. Okay.
Well, he did a Cull the Conqueror movie.
Oh, you're
Yeah,
right. He
way
did.
back
Guys,
when.
we don't have to talk about Kevin Sorbo.
We're just gonna
No.
do a
Yeah.
Kevin Sorbo
Yeah.
podcast.
Yeah, so yeah.
Let's see how long that lasts. Yeah.
We'll get endorsed by some crazy companies for
Yeah.
sure. But yeah, no. So Picard is season 1 and 2 are, they're not great.
Season
That's
2
that's a
is
reigning endorsement.
They're
Yeah.
not great. Yeah. So I mean, they basically take Picard, who is the hero of the Federation, who was a very well known captain, who was a great leader, and they kind of shit all over that character.
well, they shit on the Federation,
They shit on the Federation,
which drove me crazy.
Exactly.
Like,
Make
especially,
it so.
It's supposed to be
Yeah.
like a future of peace and
Peace
the
and-
Yeah.
and
And in this,
collective
it'll,
minds coming
understanding,
together.
racial harmony.
Right, but in this, it's like fuck the Federation.
Yeah.
Whatever.
You guys, you gotta understand. Empires fall.
Yeah.
Time.
And it was
time's
weird
up.
when they kept like
Time's
doing
up
that
for
DX
Picard.
suck it thing.
Yeah,
you
it's
know?
true.
It's weird.
Triple H, Admiral
Hey,
Triple
Commander,
H.
suck it.
Triple H comes out.
Yeah. He got the chair. God damn it, he's
Oh,
broken
no.
in half.
Computer, I need a Red Bull hot.
But yeah, the first it's not great. Discovery, I don't think is a great show.
Do they bring
either.
back Captain Pike?
So yeah,
Pike
so
is back.
so
It's
Strange
back.
New Worlds is Captain Pike.
Okay.
That is obviously it's not the original actor, of course,
Yeah,
for
he's
obvious
been
reasons.
dead for about 30
Yeah,
years. Go on.
but they take Captain Pike's character, which this actor who's the new
Do you
iteration
want
of
to
Pike.
explain that? Because just a quick rundown of who Captain Pike is, because
So quick
it's
Cap-
such a fascinating
So
story.
Captain Pike was originally slated to be the character that was supposed to be on the original series for the captain and for the Star Trek for the original Star Trek, and they hired an actor.
He was in the pilot.
He was in the
first
pilot,
episode.
and then he was in the very famous
The Cage.
the Cage episode where he runs into these alien beings that have
they all
evolved.
look like Megamind.
They look like Megamind.
Well, that was
They've evolved
That was the original pilot. They just they cut it down and put it into an original
episode. Yeah. So for reasons that I'm not sure, that actor didn't work out, but they took that original pilot and cut it into basically the first episode of the original series cast that we know nowadays, which is Kirk, Spock, McCoy. And although Spock was on the original pilot, and so was,
But that's how they
McCoy.
connected the two.
Exactly. So,
Two crews.
so Captain Pike's character was eventually he came back in the original series, but he had been in an accident where he was deformed and now in a wheelchair and can only communicate through this kind of like voice
Bleeps.
box.
It was like a
Bloop.
beep.
Yeah, bleepy thing,
Yeah,
right?
beep.
Yeah. So they took that character, that new iteration of him that they were in Discovery, and
Oh, it was a South Park joke, if anyone remembers that.
yeah,
That's
exactly.
right.
Yeah.
That's right.
So that iteration of Captain Pike was put into Discovery, which is one of the latest Star Trek episodes, and he's in that. Then they took a spin-off of Discovery and put him into
because Discovery
Strange New
takes
Worlds.
place 20 years before Kirk or something.
No,
like that?
10 years
10
before
years
Kirk.
before
Yeah,
Kirk.
10 years before Kirk. So
I
now,
never know how he's going to wind up.
but originally the story for Pike is that he was in command of the Enterprise 10 years prior to Kirk. He was basically in charge of the ship for about a decade. So these are the Strange New Worlds, which is a brand new show from Paramount. It's on Paramount Plus. Is the adventures of that crew, which also includes
Christopher Pike.
Spock,
Yeah.
played by a different actor for obvious reasons, and the actor does a fairly good job, but nobody can top Leonard Nimoy. I mean, so it's a.
I wish
it's
they
a
got
really
Zachary
tough role.
Quinto back for it.
I was hoping they get Zachary
Because
Quinto too, but
Bilbo.
he's
Yeah,
too big.
he's
He's also
Bilbo
older now.
Baggins.
Yeah, he's also
But
older now.
The
so.
good thing about Strange New Worlds, and one thing I do love about the show is, like, they do tie it into the original series where Pike, because Discovery deals with time travel,
right?
he does find out about his fate. He knows
Yes.
he's going to end up in that wheelchair, and he's
So it's a looming thing throughout the whole entire show.
but he's going to live his life the best he can
Yeah.
until then. So this,
But they make
Just
it
like
out that
Chad.
the accident is that I don't give a whole lot of details on the accident
Yeah.
itself, but he knows that he saves a bunch of young cadets,
right.
and that's why he gets injured. Like he
Right.
basically stays behind when they leave. This probably it's like an engine room or something, and the engine room blows
Which is
up.
how they hype him as a hero in the original.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. So Strange New Worlds it really feels like the original series because the Enterprise basically looks.
Yeah,
It's a little bit of some upgrades here and there, but it basically looks like the
it's
exact same ship from the original.
OG ship. Yeah.
And it feels like a
I
very.
might watch this before I watch something else.
I
think
would
you
definitely.
would,
I would
yeah.
definitely recommend
You might
Strange New
dig
Worlds.
it.
You're gonna like it.
okay, I'll take that.
And it still feels like a very because they're still.
Hey,
It's
I'm glad I listened to this podcast.
right. They have standalone shows. They have an overarching plot line throughout the movie, which is throughout the show, which is his accident, and they're just dealing with
it's
alien species.
because I know a lot of people hated Discovery.
It's not a great show.
It's not a great
Yeah.
show, and it kind
It's very
of
bleak. It's very dark. It's very fucked up
yeah,
Federation.
and I think that turned
Yeah.
a lot of people off Star
Right.
Trek, and I feel like
Just like Picard season
Strange
1
New
too.
Worlds is like a great like counter to that,
Right.
you know, because even though it's set in that same, I don't know, Kelvin timeline, whatever we're calling
Yeah.
it, but it does feel brighter and there's like hopeful.
It
in a
feels
weird
very
way,
hopeful.
you know.
Well, Gene Roddenberry originally wrote the original series. He put Uhura on there, who was also on Strange New Worlds. It's
Yes.
a young Uhura, and she's great.
She's killing it.
She's great. You know, she's still a very young officer, a Starfleet officer, so she doesn't know everything. She's still learning a lot. She's kind of unsure of herself, but she's learning how to be a more confident officer in general. It's a great character.
Did she pass away this year? The actress.
She did.
She
the
did,
original
yeah,
actress?
unfortunately. Yeah.
I think
But
there's only like 3 of the original cast
Yeah.
members now. It's Sulu,
Yeah.
Chekhov, and Kirk.
yeah,
Are
pretty
the only
much.
3
Yeah,
left.
that's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really
Yeah,
sad.
but Strange New Worlds, it's very hopeful. It's like you said, it's a great show. I highly recommend it, and it feels like the original series in many ways.
yeah.
And yeah, I mean, Discovery was it had its issues, and that's why a lot of people got turned off by it. But I highly recommend
Well,
it.
and I
Well,
feel
Stan,
like
I'm ready to get turned
Yeah.
on.
I'm telling you,
season 3 of Picard as well. I feel like they're kind of like season 1 and 2 were so bleak,
right?
and I feel like there was such a backlash that they're kind of season 3. It feels like we're bringing all the old Next Generation crew
They
members.
brought back yes,
You know,
If
it's,
I don't have a lot of time, could I just jump to 3?
yeah. So here's
Yeah.
actually, I'm glad you brought that up because
Hey, thanks.
I watched about
good segue. That's
Yeah.
how you segue,
That's
Chad.
a segue, Chad.
yeah, I watched about
By the way, hey guys, Hot Pockets. Go on. Now that's how you segue.
Oh man,
Go on, Sam.
you like Hot Pockets, do you?
So,
Isn't it weird how they're always cold in the middle? No matter how much. No, we have to not make this about Hot Pockets now, because then it's an actual segue.
yeah, exactly.
This episode
it works.
Brought to you by
Yeah, it works
No,
because
no, oh,
it
yeah.
stuns everyone into dumb silence.
what was I
yeah,
saying about
season
Picard?
3.
Oh yeah, season 3 of Picard. So I watched maybe the first like 5-6 episodes of Picard, and I thought this is just they're making Picard look like a clown. And
Yeah.
like, he's passes it. Everybody shits on him. I couldn't do it. And then the rest of the world is just too bleak and dark. I didn't watch. I stopped watching the rest of this first season 1. I skipped season 2 completely, and I just went straight to season 3. And it's like, Dan, it's like they just you could just take season 1 Picard and put it on season 3, and you're good.
Okay.
You get 7 and 9 on there who's from Voyager, which is like you can even explain that away, like, oh, she just joined Starfleet. She's a big part of season 1 and 2, but
I have
whatever.
a
You
phobia
can just-
now of skipping around episodes. I
You'll
used to
be
do
okay.
it. I never do it anymore because Chad yelled at me about Teen Titans when I was getting into the Teen Titans the real one, like the original.
Oh, the original.
I would skip around to see if I was interested in it at first, and he was like, "You can't just skip around."
I mean, you can't. There was a whole plot with Slade.
That show was very
me.
well connected.
It haunted me, so I've never like skipped episodes.
But
again.
that was the thing with good cartoons. They would have these cameos or little foreshadowing bits that would come back.
I was used to good cartoons. I was used to like.
Well, now you're watching One Piece, which that does come into play.
Yeah, because
so
you
can't
imagine
skip.
you hop around in that.
Yeah.
You'd be like, "What the fuck is this?
So
Yeah.
Does this guy stretch?"
But speaking of Star Trek,
Is that you fucked
Here
up
we
again.
go.
Wait, how's that a segue when we're speaking of Star Trek?
no, I
This is
know.
why he was quiet for 20 minutes. He's been making the segue.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no,
We're an hour 40 into this.
no. Well, I wanted to go off of since you said like jump to season 3 of Picard. If I wanted to, because like I haven't really watched all of Star Trek, all the series. If I wanted to start from somewhere and then, how would you recommend each show? Like, would I start with Strange New Worlds, then the original?
It doesn't
show?
matter. You can go to Strange New Worlds or Picard. Either it doesn't matter which one you do first.
Well, no, I mean like, but if I wanted to watch all of Star, like if I wanted to
The entire-
entirety.
Start. Oh, I see. Well, obviously the original series, then the movies from the original series.
Okay.
Next Generation.
He's doing chronological.
Yeah, Next Generation. Well, yeah, Next Generation. Then Deep Space Nine, Voyager.
Yeah.
Those are the best ways to watch it. Chronologically, it's a different, but that's a little more complicated. But that's
yeah.
the best way to watch it.
Oh, okay.
And then if you want Enterprise, which is still a good show.
If you are interested in Pike's show, you should just watch those 2 episodes of the original Star Trek.
Well,
Right.
no, but
Right.
I mean like, but if because watching Voyager and Enterprise, would I forget? Because when I get to Strange New World, I'll be like,
no.
Oh,
So when you finally get to what's being made recently,
Yeah.
which is Discovery, Picard, Strange New Worlds. So it doesn't really matter which order you watch
doesn't?
them.
Okay.
But Strange, if you want to know the full backstory of Pike and related to what's recently coming out, you watch Discovery because they reintroduce
Him
the
and
iteration
Spock.
of this character in that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I see.
Voyager is a good show on its own because it's basically a ship. They're stuck in the Gamma Quadrant,
Right.
So
Yeah.
It's a
they're away
standalone.
from the Federation. It's
Yeah.
very standalone, and it's how the crew deals with not being connected to the Federation.
Yeah.
So I love
But
Voyager. I thought it was
Picard
great.
season 3 deals with what happened in Deep Space Nine, though.
Yes,
Oh,
the Dominion
20 years
War.
of the Dominion. Yeah, so the Dominion is back. The Dominion were these shape-shifting creatures
Without the
that also had
founders,
the founders who also had a very strong clone army
Okay.
called the Jem'Hadar,
Jem'Hadar.
which were fucking badass. They
were
had like the
great.
horn heads and shit.
Yeah,
And
they were
it was
like- they were
fun.
drug
a
addicts.
bunch of nerds right now.
Well, because I remember,
What?
I remember in Voyager, the captain going up against the Borg Queen
Yes.
and
Yeah.
thing like
They
that.
made that
so,
big part of the end
Yeah.
of that show.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, if there's really no, I mean, if you
Dan's
want,
rolling his eyes so hard.
Dan's
like,
totally
"You
rolling his
nerds."
You're such nerds, and I love this shit.
Wait, nerds.
We're not mentioning anime
What's your
once
favorite
yet.
candy? Mine's nerd. I like nerds.
Are we talking about candy next, Chad?
is that another segue?
It was another shitty
no,
segment.
no.
Beautifully,
Your
beautifully
pocket
done.
protector's linking.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Pull your glasses up.
Oh no! I just taped them this morning.
I filled my pocket full of gushers.
Oh, somebody put shit in my pants. Oh, I need help.
I'm gonna shove all you guys into lockers. You know what? Fuck this, guys. We're going to WrestleMania.
Yes.
Damn.
Am I going?
No, you're not.
I mean, you're invited, but you got
Not the collective we.
Well, I didn't get invited.
No.
Oh.
Dan and I are going to WrestleMania.
Oh, the
Oh.
cool people are gonna go to.
Oh, I would
WrestleMania.
have liked to go.
Well,
The cool
Watson's
people
cool
and
too.
Stan are going to WrestleMania.
Oh, that's nice.
I'm checking my
just once
email
again,
for the Evite. Just
It's an
I'm
audio
so
format.
sorry.
I'm attractive and strong and big. Everyone loves me.
Well, yeah, I got some tickets from a friend of mine who wasn't able to make it to WrestleMania, so I had a free ticket. I'm not a big wrestling fan, but some of you guys are, and so I was just
Dan,
like,
that's Danny.
Yes.
boy.
yeah. So Dan, I only know 3 hardcore
Doink the
wrestling fans.
Clown
I
is
didn't
still
Watson.
alive, baby.
Watson, I didn't know you were a huge wrestling fan, but I don't know 3 hardcore wrestling fans. One's already going, and the other one, I was like, well, I'm gonna reach out to Dan and see what he says. And so he
And
was
I
like,
told him to suck it,
Yeah,
baby.
he's like-
but in like the positive
he's
way.
like, fuck it, I'm not going. And I was like, okay, no, he's going. So
Yes.
Yeah, Watson, I wish I had known. I'd
It's
taken
okay.
you over this
I'm
asshole.
gonna try and work it.
Yeah.
So
I
I'm
like
gonna
that
try
we're
and-
now using this podcast just to brag about.
Yeah.
Things we have.
Oh, and we're going to WrestleMania. Anyway, that's going to wrap it up.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, like I used to be, but not anymore. Because my
What was their last wrestling viewing? Do you think?
the one that I like really enjoyed was
Yeah.
It was probably like the last days of Stone Cold because Rock was already gone.
Mm-hmm.
So
The
I
end
was
of the
there-
Attitude Era.
I was there in person when Mick Foley, Mankind, won the championship for the first time.
Excuse me.
Yeah, it was in Worcester, Mass.
Rag.
Yeah.
but
That's
nobody
great.
really cares. So
I remember.
It was actually
I
one of the
was-
most historical moments in.
I mean, but nobody
WWF history.
cares that,
Is that
you
when
were
he jumped
there,
off the cage?
I guarantee at least 3 people listening were like, "Oh yeah!"
I mean, I don't want to bust out my bona fides, but I was there.
Don't
when,
bust out your bone to nothing here.
though. Oh yeah,
I
Well,
was there when Undertaker put Ultimate Warrior in a body bag.
Oh.
At the LA Forum many moons.
Wait,
Well,
how
how-
old are you?
I'm old enough to remember. Yeah.
Well, how about this?
I mean, I'm cool. I'm hip. I'm 20.
I
like,
find out that you're
I'm on the
British and super
TikToks.
old on
Yeah,
this show.
Exactly.
I watched the pay-per-view of WrestleMania where May showed her boobs on the TV.
Hell yeah,
If you remember May,
I
she's
do.
a very old woman.
Yeah, the fabulous May and Moolah. Yeah.
Very old.
Well, she
old,
wasn't
yeah.
when she was a real wrestler. Yeah.
Yeah, she was a real wrestler. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Have you ever been to
She got
WrestleMania? Anybody?
taken through a
No.
table by the Dudley Boys.
I do
like
remember
when she was
that.
80.
Yeah, that was
That's
great.
why it's very surreal right now. I to give a quick thing. I loved wrestling years ago, and then I jumped off for like a decade.
Yeah.
Which I guess apparently in hindsight was a bad era too. It was a very
That was the PG era, is known as.
Yeah.
When John Cena was kind of in charge. I
Oh,
mean, not in
yeah.
charge, but he was the face of the company.
yeah.
And
But you couldn't see him though.
I
you couldn't see
him,
it, yeah,
which
bad,
sucked
bad
for
use
TV.
for a face. But that was the era where they were trying to tone everything down from the Attitude Era, and that was when I jumped. I wasn't watching it at that point.
Yeah.
either.
When was this era? That
It's like the
This-
2000s.
Yeah, mid 2000s.
Yeah.
But like I
So-
jumped off, and I just during the pandemic once again.
Mm-hmm.
I was about to say like thing for the pandemic.
We got a lot of
That's-
viewing going.
Yeah, we had time.
It's weird to be
if
nostalgic
anything.
about those like 4 months when we were all locked in our homes.
Yeah.
I wasn't.
But like it was I went back to like old wrestling matches just out of nostalgia, but
Yeah.
then like little bits of like the new stuff would poke their head in, and I'd be like, oh well, that's interesting, or that guy's interesting.
Yeah.
And then eventually it started like creeping in more and more, where I was like, well, let me find out what this is.
Right.
And then I wouldn't like watch the weekly shows, but I'd watch like the recaps of them to the point where then like I'd be like, okay, now I'm on board, because they have some of the best storytelling they've done in years right now. And when Stan mentioned WrestleMania, when I was younger, WrestleMania was out of the question. You know, like there was no way I was ever gonna go
Yeah.
to a WrestleMania. So the fact that like I get to go now, when I jumped back on the horse, I'm like, I'm so geeked about it. Doink the Clown's still alive.
I love yes. Maybe he'll be back. Maybe he'll be back this
He
time.
will.
My only guff with wrestling now is that what I can't say guff.
anything, but
God, you're all old.
I've never even heard that before. Guff. What is that?
We'll watch some TV once in a while.
Yeah,
Educate
get
yourself.
'em.
I've been watching Columbo. Okay, sorry.
That's where you got it. That makes
Yeah.
sense.
One more question. I got guff.
Hold
By
on.
the way,
One more thing. I hate that they removed like TLC matches. The Hell in a Cell isn't
They're all
like
back, baby.
those
Yeah,
are
they just had a War Games.
yeah.
so wait
Hell
they
in a
can
Cell is coming
Hell
for
in a Cell,
WrestleMania.
elimination
Kate
matches.
like so they could use tables,
It's
ladders,
all
and chairs.
back. It's all
Really,
back.
it's
Yeah.
all back.
They
That's
use
that was-
color again, which is a
What
term
about
for blood.
the no hold bar?
all back?
Like the street fight ones and all
Yeah,
that.
all back.
Really?
It's all
Wow.
back.
No
Oh,
shit.
okay.
Yeah.
Well, then maybe I should watch again. I don't know, but
Well, that's been the beauty of, I mean, Vince McMahon leaving and
Yes,
Triple H
bless.
kind of taking control of creative on the show.
yeah.
They've really they've brought the game up a lot. I
And
think
he
in
also
the past couple of years.
It's time to
he
play
knows
the
the
game.
strengths of the wrestlers and what they're good at and what they're
Yeah.
not good
No,
at.
he's a good-
Vince McMahon had a not so great wrestler, but he was insanely charismatic.
Oh, yeah.
LA Knight.
You're fired.
There's this guy named LA
was good.
Knight. He's insanely charismatic. He's huge right now. Even though he's a heel, people just latch onto him because he's so good on the mic.
Yeah.
But he was a fine wrestler
Right.
back when he first started. Vince made him a mute when
Oh,
he
yeah.
first came out. And I was
Right.
like, you made your talkative dude a mute?
Yeah.
Like a French guy,
When
right?
famously Vince, he wanted to be the superstars of wrestling, to be the tall, tanned, muscular guy.
He liked a big slap of man meat.
He
yeah.
did. He had a
Just like
certain
Chad.
like.
Nothing wrong with
I
that.
want this to be the.
Can we get that clean, please?
Nothing wrong with that.
That's
There
my
you go.
ringtone.
That's sexy. That's sexy.
But and you're seeing guys now who are coming up like Kevin Owens would never be a champion 20 years ago.
On the Broken Skull sessions with Steve Austin, he was talking to Sami Zayn, and he said, Sami Zayn was like, "Look at me and Kevin."
Yeah.
Does that look like, when you think of like the Ultimate Warrior and Hulk Hogan back in the day?
Right.
Do we look like the faces of
Right,
the
exactly.
current
They would
WWF?
never, that's why CM Punk had so many issues
But
too.
thank God, because they're the most entertaining people. It's like
Yeah.
backyard wrestlers were the most
Right.
entertaining things in the
Right,
world.
and they were the workers. Those guys work.
That's the other thing where of recent years they haven't had many the old school like
you
character.
don't have to be a dentist or a clown or an undertaker.
Well, no, but like when it's just a
We're
person,
Ruin our shyster.
when it's just a person in a leotard, it's boring. There's no
That's
character.
why I jumped off, Chad.
Yeah, that's why
I jumped
same
off.
here.
But what
You
they're
needed
doing
more
now,
Doink the Clowns.
We need, obviously, Doink's still alive, hashtag. And what they're doing now is they're giving those wrestlers personalities.
Yeah.
They're characters that aren't caricatures.
Brock Lesnar has no personality.
Brock Lesnar now does have
He
a
does
personality.
now.
Wait, the cowboy. I think I saw, but
He's
I was
like
like,
laid back and like, I could fucking fuck you all up. They're like, he is he's lighter, he's funnier. Like
They're letting him smile.
they're letting the wrestlers like show more of themselves, but like not, but like enough to. Everyone's their own character, you know. But like they're not. I don't have to dress up like Duke the Dumpster Drosy.
but sometimes it's fun to see those types of characters pop up, though.
It is, but like I also will say, like, if I was to see a character like that pop
Yeah.
up now, it would be so weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be weird to see a Papa Shango walking down the.
But
Right, or
the same
Gangrel
way,
or
if I
something.
saw a dude in black tights walk down named Steve Austin, like in the 80s,
Yeah,
I'd be like, who's this fucking nobody?
I mean that's true
Right.
too.
but if
That is true.
he turned out and if he had,
but he
like,
made up for it with his personality, which is what you're saying they're
he
doing
became
now,
the
so.
attitude.
Yeah.
Era.
So can I? What happened to Ed McMahon? Why is he not in charge of it anymore? How
well,
did that?
Ed McMahon does the sweepstakes.
Ed McMahon. Oh my god. Well,
That's a good one.
But Vince,
Vince.
was
Oh my God.
committed of the many sexual grievances he had through
Yeah.
decades of paying off women
Right.
to silence them.
Oh, Vince?
And
Yeah.
and he
Oh, that's right.
he
I forgot
resigned,
about that, yeah.
rightfully so.
That's right.
And then
Forgot all
guess
about
what?
that.
As any rich white man will do,
shit.
he just decided it's fine and he'll come back with no slap on the wrist.
He handed his
Right.
company over to his kids, and I think Shane and
Is Shane still around?
Shane is around. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
Stephanie was more of the
Stephanie,
creative
yeah.
CEO of it.
Yeah.
But
And
she
I
was
think
great.
they did a great
She is
job
great,
with
yeah.
it. Yeah, I mean,
Triple H and
I-
Stephanie.
The
did a
Attitude
great
Era,
job.
I hated her guts. That's how good she
that's
was.
how good she was.
That was
yeah.
her character.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I know. That's right.
Because
Yeah.
I hated her to death.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
a lot of people I hated so much. When I look back on now, I was like, oh, they just did such a good job.
yeah.
And
It's crazy.
That's what I love about, like, when you're older watching wrestling, it's easier to see the connective storylines and threads and
Yeah.
like, oh, they're gonna win because next week this is happening
Right.
and this is setting up for like, it's hard to break that when you're older, but like, it's still so much fun to get lost for like a half hour.
Did they bring back assaulting them
clown,
out?
yes.
Assaulting wrestlers outside of the the stadium,
when
like
they're
at
on
the
their way
grocery
to-
store.
I love that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
oh, I love those so
just
much.
throwing someone off a bridge
Yeah.
and they have like the
they're in
lifeless
full-
dummy.
One of my favorite things are in
he's
like
like,
full-
those are so good.
But they're
Yeah.
in like full ring gear.
Yeah.
And they're like
Yeah.
going to the grocery store, and you're like, wait a second.
I believe it.
My favorite when they were giving an interview and the guy just came up behind him and started beating him down.
yeah.
Oh god, he's getting beat down. Oh god, oh god.
Oh my god!
God, the rest
Somebody
of it's so good. Like, yeah, once again, if we're saying a lot of things that if it's not your thing, there's a lot of things I thought I wouldn't like, and I'm surprised when I dip my toe into something, and it resonates. It's the best feeling in the world.
Yeah.
There's nothing better than discovering something and then having that for you. And even if it's just a niche thing that no one else likes or talks to or wants to watch School Live with you, and I don't know how many times I have to ask them, and I don't know how many times I have to do a fake reading group to get their attention to do School Live, even though I tell them it's a great show and it's only 12 episodes and they could just watch it in either dub or sub, and it was free on YouTube for like half a year, and then it got caught, and then everything got flagged, and then now I bought the DVD so that the Blu-ray so they could eventually come over to my house.
But
they
you
still
never
won't
invite us
show up.
over.
I don't want you in my house.
Then how am I going to watch School
Anyway,
Live?
window like a
if
creep.
you find these good things, if you find these things, just like don't be afraid to try these new things, because if you find that
Don't
one,
be afraid.
okay, can we end this now? I'm done. I'm done. I don't like him anymore.
But I'm just saying, don't be afraid.
But just like I think the same way like I tried Elden Ring and loved it.
Yeah.
Try something you would be uncomfortable with, because also, if anything,
I don't know where this sentence is going.
but
I'm
like butt
scared.
stuff.
Yeah.
Like butt stuff.
But just try it.
Just try it.
Yeah.
Chad, I think he's trying to get you to smooch.
Oh, he wants me to. Well,
Come on.
I know he hates tomato because I've been munching on that all day. And
What is this a segment towards?
Sponsored by tomatoes.
Sponsored by tomatoes?
sponsored by LA Farms, where you can get your freshest of tomatoes.
Sponsored by LA Farms. Yeah, we have those.
Oh my God! So we're almost at the 2-hour mark. Does anybody
yeah.
else have anything to want to add?
Just want to apologize for talking for 2 hours.
No, it's fine. We love long form here, and we do spoilers. And I love talking for
Yeah.
for a
Yeah,
long time.
people join us for the conversation.
That's right. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah,
Dan,
thanks,
thanks for
Dan.
being on.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Come back
This is
anytime.
great.
Dan, how can people reach you?
Yeah.
You can follow me at It's Morphin Time 17. I have more followers than Chad, and and that's all that
He wants to
matters
keep
to me, baby.
Goose those numbers, baby.
Hey, smash that like button.
Goose those numbers.
Goose
Hit that
it, baby.
follow.
Well, thank you all for listening from start to finish. But please, if you'd like to see more from us or hear more from us, contact us or follow and subscribe to us on Twitter and Instagram at Enter the Nerdom. And feel free to message us there. We'll answer any questions or
You want us to
suggest
talk about something?
Yeah, to suggest anything you'd like us
please,
to talk about or
rate and review us if you can on your podcast service of choice.
yes.
We're on Spotify.
And on Spotify or Apple.
Yes.
And then was there anything else, guys, you wanted to bring up?
That's good.
Just
That's
that
it?
famous outro you always do.
Outro.
Hey,
Enter the Nerdom.
everyone, if you're sitting at home,
Here we go.
sit down.
Everyone get
If you're
quiet.
driving, pull over to the side of the street, because here it comes.
Here it comes.
The famous funny line Chad says after every episode.
Enter the Nerdom.
As you entered the Nerdom, as you leave, I'd like to give you a nerdy fact.
Sweet Jesus.
The circulatory system,
one is
stretched
still
out
here.
can be about 60,000 miles. So,
Circulatory system?
yeah, the circulatory system.
What is that?
What do you mean?
No, we gotta stop.
And that's it. Thank you, guys.
I'm not listening anymore.
Like nerdy fact at the end.
Oh, I feel bad.
But no, that
I
was
feel
even
bad
funnier.
that I took
was-
that from you.
No, it's better that way.
No, I can see you. That's probably why you stayed late at work. He's just like, okay, I need something. I'm gonna knock them dead with this one.
No, this was the first thing that popped. I was like, oh, nerdy fact, and then I was like, okay, I'll just use that. But then I was like, I added on that last part of let's stretch her out.
He was sitting on that for hours, and I ruined it for him.
Oh my god,
Okay, tell us how long your circulatory system is.
60,000 miles.
That's nuts. This is like the ramblings of a lunatic. You are psychotic. You're sitting behind your desk going, I'm going to find the circulatory system.
And he has to say Tolstoy.
According to the month. And then I'll say this, and then Dan will ask me about Tolstoy, and I'll say, are you out of your mind? You lunatic. This is why all my birthday cards from you are just scribbles on a fucking napkin like you're a psychopath. Looks like dead cats and shit. You're like, dead cats like hanging from like trees. And I'm like, what is this? You're like, oh, I drew a cat with a balloon.
Based on you saying this thing.
And like all magazine cut up letters that just say happy birthday. I know where you live.
Oh my god.
Oh, god damn it.